All right, you starting to stream right now. What's up? I know I'm dressed like a goddamn Cuban drug dealer, but I'm here. What's up, man? Got on my LA tank top in this mug. What's up? How y'all living? Let me look up in this chat room and see who we got up in here. It's a little hot. It's a little humid, but I'm here. Let me check in with the family, and I'm pretty much on time. I'm like 3 minutes late. I'm a little late because Mama Peanut was texting me about some shit in the house. They were doing a lot of construction on my house right now. They tore my house up. And hold on, let me see where we are here. All right, we're here. Yeah, they got a lot of construction going on in the house. We had rodents up in the attic eating through the pipes of the air conditioning, and the air conditioning was leaking water, and it was leaking water all over the house, and then they had to come in and bust my walls and ceilings open. Then they put new pipes up there, but then the rodents came and ate it again, so I'm just going through a whole bunch of bullshit. And I got to get a pest control person tomorrow, so that you know, and you know, because I got homeowners insurance, these people are just doing whatever so they can get all that insurance money. So I got these companies coming in, and you know, they busting everything up so they can get that insurance money. That's another thing. Y'all got to understand the hustle. When people come and see little things, there was just a little water damage, but they start busting up all types of walls, and so they can get that. They can get the insurance bag. So it is what it is. So. It is what it is. But what's going on, man? How y'all doing, family? What's going on with the family? Yeah, a lot of stuff we're going to talk about on tonight's show. We're going to have a little fun on tonight's show. We're going to talk about some good things. Yeah, homeowners insurance is definitely a necessity. You got to have that, definitely. You got to have that. Well, before anything, let me shout out to the family. What's up, Michael Gardner, my moderator? Shout out to everybody who got the Mink Slide album. I really take my hat off to everybody who supported the Mink Slide album. The Mink Slide album is doing excellent right now. Understand, our album, my group Mink Slide, the album Egyptian Musk, this is a 100% independent project. This is 100% indie. Right now, I think we're in the top 20 on iTunes. We were all the way up to number 3. We debuted at number 3 on the iTunes charts. Currently, if you go to Google Play, on the R&B charts, we're number 3. We're the 3rd best-selling album on Google Play in the world right now. On Amazon, you go to the R&B soul charts, we're number 2 on Amazon. And we're going up against major labels. You understand? We're going against major labels. We're going up against major labels. We're the only independent album, R&B album, that's in the top 20 on the charts right now. We're the only one, and that's something very significant, because that shows that you can make an impact if you have a certain quality of material. I want us to get into the mindset of doing things and not being so dependent upon the dominant society. We got to learn how to go around certain parameters. Because understand, you know, radio play would have been nice, but we're doing this stuff without radio play. Understand, we haven't been played on any radio stations, and we're on the charts going neck and neck with people who are getting 24-hour-a-day radio play. And we're outselling most of them. Understand the power of word of mouth, family. This is very important. I want black folks to understand how we need to use the word of mouth grapevine to our advantage. We got to go back to that word of mouth thing. Thank you so much, Charm. And also, we made a very good album. We made a classic album, and that was the thing. We wanted to do something knowing when you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses, you have to play up your strengths. The weaknesses we had, we weren't going to get any immediate radio play as the majors. I already knew that. Another weakness was, which we turned into a strength, the weakness was we couldn't do anything, and I didn't want to do anything that sounded like the material that's out already. We knew if we did that, that's going to be a major weakness because we're going to sound like everybody else. That's why the album, none of the songs, it doesn't sound like anything that's out there now. It's really traditional R&B and funk. It is. We're very, very, very particular about being true to that sound because I wanted this album to have a timeless effect. Again, a lot of people notice this when they listen to the album. There are no filler songs. Every cut on that record, even the intro, we got like a 1-minute intro. People were like, well, shit, that should have been a whole song. We wanted to make an album that you don't have to fast forward or skip songs. You want to listen to that shit all the way through. And it's a very feel-good album. Remember, I was doing a show the other day, last week, talking about vibrations and the frequency of music. You understand? So I wanted to make sure we did an album that had the right emotional frequency, psychological frequency. That's very important. So that people can get their minds right. You get in a certain mindset when you hear the record. It puts you in a certain mood when you hear the songs. Whereas if you listen to a lot of stuff out there now, you got a lot of songs out there. Most of the songs on the radio is about getting highs, drinking lean, popping Percocets and shit like that. You hear that and, we're going to get a bunch of drug addict coons out here. You understand? So it's very important to get into the right mindset and be particular about what we're listening to. You understand? Everything we do is going to have to be get into the realm of empowerment. And that's the thing I want people to understand. We got to be the kind of people where everything we do, we're going to use that to empower ourselves, even our music. There's nothing wrong with doing music because people are going to do music regardless. The thing is, what type of music are you doing? Shout out to London. I really want to go out there to London to perform. But the thing is, when you do music, what kind of music are you doing? When you're performing, what type of energy are you putting out there to the people? You understand? There's nothing wrong with doing music. That's a social thing. People like to do music, but what are you doing with it? How are you going to empower with your music? What kind of impact are you going to make with your music? You understand? Music heals. It's a healing thing, and also just the business of it too. That's another thing that I wanted to really be a part of controlling, because there's a lot of money into music publishing and holding on to your publishing rights, because that's what I think in the long term. See, a lot of cats, when they do music or get into the music industry, it's all about, okay, I want to get a hit record so I can fuck a gang of chicks on tour, that type of shit. I want to get one car and a bunch of pussy. And we got to think farther down the line than that. You understand? You got to think way farther down the line. We got to start playing chess here. We got to not get on this immediate gratification thing. That's why I made a record that, if you listen to the Mink Slide Egyptian Musk album, that album is timeless. You can play that record about 20 years from now. It's going to still have the same vibe. Or you can go back in time. If you had a time machine and you went back to 1985 and bumped that album, it'll fall right in line. Just like that. Like, for example, like Evelyn said, there's songs from the mid-'80s that never played out, that you can put on and them shit's gonna rock. You put on an Evelyn Champagne King record in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, late 2000s, that shit's gonna bump. You put on an SOS band record, that shit's gonna bump. You understand? That joint, you put on some Kashif, that's gonna bump. Alexander O'Neal, some of that him and Sherelle, that's gonna bump. You put on Cool by Morris Day and The Time, that shit's gonna bump. It never goes out of style. Before I Let Go, Frankie Beverly and Maze, there's a reason why these people that I'm naming, they can still tour right now. Frankie Beverly and Maze, if they do a concert anywhere, that shit's gonna be sold out. Evelyn Champagne King still does sold out shows all around the world. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire never goes out of style. Those dudes are constantly touring. So that shit is timeless. You understand? So you got to think in those terms. I didn't want to do anything that was just like too trendy. I didn't want to do anything that was too trendy. I'm thinking farther down the line, something that's going to have a lot of longevity. That's why I really took my time with the album. You dig? And we got to start thinking like that. We got to start, and this is what the show is about tonight. We're going to have to start defining the narrative. You know, we're going to have to start defining how we do certain things, and we're going to define what genres we're going to control. We're going to have to define who is who and what is what. We're going to have to define what is R&B. You understand? We have to redefine that because we define music. But the thing is, we start signing off everything to other people, then they redefine it for us. Because what happens is, you know, we know what R&B is. We know what rhythm and blues is. We know. And we start walking away from our genres and other people start getting a hold of it and they start flipping it into something else. And then when you start talking about R&B, they pull up Post Malone. As a matter of fact, the reason why we didn't go #1 on iTunes, which we were very close to going to #1, there were 2 records that was in front of us. One was about, it was a group called The Internet. That's Pharrell's people. And they are very good. It's the cute little stud girl. She's the lead singer. And some brothers in there. The group is called The Internet. And they're actually very good. The Internet is good. They got some real hot stuff. They are good. And they released their album the same day as mine. So I'll give them their props. And plus, they're on a major label, so they're getting a major label push. So they're at the #1 spot right now. But the #2 spot was a group called 88. What the fuck was that group? Hold on. It's called 88 something. You say the girl ain't cute? Yeah, the girl, she's a cute little stud. Don't shit on the little stud girl. What's wrong with you? You're a cute little sexy stud. Hold on 1 second. Let me show you that. What's that group? Okay, 88 Rising. That's another group. An R&B group called 88 Rising. Now, 88 Rising is an R&B group, but there's a bunch of Asian cats. This 88 Rising is an R&B group, and their shit is selling. They're like they've been fluctuating between #1 and #2 on the Google charts, on the iTunes charts, but 88 Rising, that's an Asian group. It's a bunch of Asian cats doing R&B. And basically what they're doing, they're singing over trap beats, basically. They're basically singing over trap beats. You dig? Yeah, 88 Rising. And they're these Asian cats, and you know, they got that Asian momentum. You know, they got, you know, the dominant society supporting them, and they got the Asian crowd. You know, they support their own. I give them that. But understand, these people from the dominant society and these other groups, they'll take our stuff and claim it and run with it and be successful with it. Yeah, somebody said 88 Rising. It does. You know, because 88, when you start talking 88, that's that Nazi type of shit. But I'm not saying they are, but it kind of, you know, it has that sound. And understand, you know, there's some people over there in Asia that's into that Nazi chic, where they dress up as Nazis. That's kind of a thing over there in certain parts of Asia. But this is why it's important for us to define the narrative. You dig? Yeah, they've been into R&B for a long time, you know, and they study it and learn. Understand, when people are into our stuff, they're studying it so that they can learn how to control it. You understand? Don't be fooled. This is why we gotta control the narrative and define the narrative. A lot of people are into the R&B around the world, which is good, but we gotta understand that they want to get into it so that they can control it, so they can find out how to do that, so they can study these riffs, so they can study the singers and emulate them. You dig? You see, we got to be on that. We got to study the greats. We got to, see, we leave our greats and our legends, we turn our backs on them. You notice in the dominant white society, their legends, boy, their musical legends, they hold their legends up to high esteem. Elvis is a god. The Rolling Stones are gods in white society. They don't look at them as they fell off. They make sure that their legends are going to eat. You dig? Our legends, people who are, you know, who are very influential to the music genre, we let them fall off. You dig? Yeah, we cancel our legends. We let too many of our legends fall off. You dig? Even in hip hop, you know, we got to make sure our hip hop guys are good. You dig? So that's what we got to do with it. We got to make sure our people are good. Say why these groups hate us so much, but they want to take our style. Well, that's the thing. We allow them to because we open the door for everybody. We allow them to. We got a very big problem with allowing these people to come in and eat off of us because too many of us are on that kumbaya bullshit. And this is the double-edged sword. Because a lot of black groups, you know, when they go on tour, a lot of times, especially the old ones, and Little Richard, he made a very interesting comment. He was like, when he goes on tour, he performs, 95% of his audience is white. Because black people ain't fucking with a Little Richard concert no more. But white people, they love that pure rock and roll. They want to go see the greats. They'll support an older black artist before black people will support an old black artist. That's why people like Alexander O'Neal, he had to move over to the UK. He was getting so much support in the UK. He's from Minneapolis, but Alexander O'Neal actually moved to the UK for a long time because he was selling out Wembley Stadium and all that stuff. He was huge over there. We got to respect our legends. Shout out to Canada. We got to respect our legends and give props and praise to our legends who paved the way. This is why this album was somewhat of an homage to a lot of the legendary singers. This is why, you know, I still prop up a lot of the legends. I love Alexander O'Neal. I'm a big fan of Charlie Wilson, the group Guy. I'm a huge fan of those cats, and I try to hit their concerts up every chance I get, just to support. You dig? Yeah. Now for those who've heard the Mink Slide album, what song should be the next single? Right now, City Lights. That to me, that's one of the hottest songs on the album. But what should be the next single on the Mink Slide album? What's up, Miss Linda Anderson? I haven't seen you in a while, Linda Anderson. What should be the next single? Somebody said Pleasure and Passion, My Desire, Wish for Love, Pleasure and Passion, Got That Feeling, My Desire, Wish for Love. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of My Desire, Wish for Love, Pleasure. Okay, y'all. My Desire, Wish for Love, Pleasure and Passion. Pleasure and passion and pleasure. Wishful love. Okay, so it's really between pleasure and passion and wish for love. Pleasure and passion and wish for love. Okay. So it's a tie between those two. Yeah, a lot of folks like those songs. A lot of folks like those. Well, they like the whole album. Definitely wish for love. What's up, Ola? Everybody say what's up to Ola. But yeah, speaking of Ola, me and Ola, we getting ready to start production on the next Hidden Colors 5. Oh, we're gonna get heavy. I'm getting my mindset ready for all that heavy information. Wish for love all day. Yeah, that Jerry Curl pic. Yeah, folks was tripping on that old. We had a glamour shot style picture. Satisfying is a fun song. Satisfying is a very fun song. So you like my voice on Wish for Love the best? Yeah. Wish for Love is a fun song. But a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people, even on iTunes, you can see which songs are the most popular. The popular songs, which are obviously City Lights because that's the new single, but Wish for Love is very popular with people. They really like that song. Get Colin Kaepernick on Hidden Colors 5. I'm going to call Colin and ask him. Colin, I'm going to call you. Nessa, tell Colin I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him and ask him. Because I would like to have Colin on Hidden Colors 5. I would love to have Colin Kaepernick on HC5. I would like to get KRS-One back on the Hidden Colors series. Y'all hit up KRS-One on social media and let him know. We want to have him chop up that game. Y'all got to, yeah, Nipsey just gave me his new number. So I got to hit up Nipsey. But we're going to get deep into Hidden Colors 5, man. We're going to, Natural Charm, she's in the room. She's going to be in it. So we're going to have a lot of new faces in there. We're going to really talk a lot about warfare. Like I said before, we're going to talk about warfare. We're going to talk about a lot of incidents that people don't know about. Yeah, shout out to Joe Brown. We follow each other on Twitter. We're going to talk about a lot of incidents that are not known. We're going to talk about black resistance. You dig? Which is very important to understand. A lot of black resistance in the history of black resistance, black people fighting back against white supremacy, a lot of that is hidden, not just globally, but even here. And I'm constantly learning about new instances and new situations that's just not publicized. You understand? When we think about the 1960s, we think civil rights because that's all the dominant white society like to promote. They like to promote that. They like to promote the myth, and I'm saying it's a myth, that in the 1960s, black people were passive, nonviolent, and docile. And that is, nothing can be further from the truth. That's a real big misconception, that black people in the 1960s were passive, submissive, and docile, and nonviolent, and going around singing, "We shall overcome." That was a certain group. You don't hear about these other people. You do not hear about some of these other people who was really getting down, and they were unfortunately neutralized by the FBI and COINTELPRO and all these people. But there's brothers and sisters who put in major work back then, who were not afraid. You know, there's something in it. There's a brother I'm gonna bring in from Cleveland. Do y'all know in Cleveland in the 1960s there was something called the Glenville Shootout in Cleveland in the late 60s, where some black people who were tired of the bullshit, they stacked up weapons and started busting on the damn police. They shot a bunch of police in Cleveland. The Glenville shootings. That's something that's been buried. You understand? Where my Cleveland people? There's a lot of stuff going there. Oh, man. You live in Glenville? Yeah. Yeah, the Glenville riots. But yeah, it got down because black folks started busing. They were busing on police out there in Cleveland, in Glenville. This was the late 60s. I forgot what exact year it was. Glenville High is a high school in Cleveland, yeah. East side of Cleveland. Yeah, a lot of us haven't heard about that. Yeah, that's another thing. That's why I don't say riots. You notice my man in the room said riots. I said the shooting. See, this is why we got to define the narrative. Tehran, you from Cleveland, they still talk about it? 1968, there you go. What's up on Rocky Memphis? Shout out to you, my brother. Much respect, Rocky Memphis. He said the album was classic. Much respect. Yeah, this is 1968. Some brothers out there, they start raising money. They were like, yeah, we're going to raise money for like community this, community that. And boy, he stacked that money up and started getting weapons. New Jersey, too. They were doing the same thing in Jersey. They were busing on police officers in Jersey and race soldiers. They were busing on them race soldiers who was trying to kill them. You dig? They had that summer spirit of Ogun. But this is why we have to control the narrative. We have to tell these stories because a lot of we unfortunately get too much of our information from the dominant society, and they bury stuff like that. They bury the rebellions in New Jersey where the brothers were sniping the race soldiers and the suspected white supremacists. They don't like to talk about the zebra murders up in the Bay. Understand that. We all look that up. Those zebra murders where there's some brothers, they start making preemptive attacks on people in the dominant society because they got tired of the bullshit up there. You didn't, you didn't know I was tatted like this? Yeah, usually I'm covered up. Yeah, what y'all know about the zebra murders up in the Bay? Well, these brothers were covertly going around taking out people in the dominant society. And the reason they got caught, it was a coon. Reese Taylor, is that the sister who got raped down there in Alabama? Yeah, they keep the zebra murders out. They don't talk about that. That happened in the early 70s. And it was a coon that fucked all that up. And they don't, this is why when people say, well, we ain't our grandfather, you damn sure right, because your granddad was about that life. A lot of times your granddad was about that life. Some of these niggas ain't. Some folk, look, everybody in the 60s weren't cooning it up. Now, believe me, you did have a bunch of coons in the 60s. You had a bunch of them. But you did have a lot of black people who were more about that life than people are now. Because back then, it was one point in the 60s, early 70s where black folks were not scared. They said, fuck this. You dig? They put in a lot of work. Unfortunately, the coons jumped in and capitalized off the work that those real rebels put in. See, a lot of y'all don't really know how grandma, I ain't talking about like grandma who's like 32. I ain't talking about one of them grandmas. I'm talking about your old grandma, granddad. A lot of you don't know how they got down. You did. There was one point where black folks, there was enough black folks, not all, but there was enough black folks who were like, look, if we go out, we all go out. So that's why for a minute, they laid off directly attacking black folks. That didn't start back, the direct attacks didn't start back until really the late 70s. And this is why we got to understand how white supremacy works. When you get a victory, you got to maintain that level of energy to keep these white supremacists at bay. Because the white supremacists, when they take an L, they never forget. When they take an L, they never forget, and they regroup. In the 60s, black people were wearing the white supremacists out. This is why they needed COINTELPRO, and they needed all these government military programs to neutralize black leaders and all this old stuff. But the black folks on the streets, you know, there was so many riots and so many attacks against white supremacy, and not just burning buildings. People were killing random white supremacists on the low, and they keep that real quiet. So the dominant society understood if we directly attack these people militarily, they're going to strike back against us. So we need to come up with more covert ways. So we got to go to the drawing board. You understand? So for like a decade, they laid off direct attacks. This is why really in the 70s, you didn't hear about too many direct attacks against black folks until the late 70s. That's when the Klan started to reemerge and regroup, and these white supremacist groups started to organize. This is when David Duke started to rise up some. This is when the Klan got a new wind. The Klan started to get more sophisticated. This is when we start seeing things like the Atlanta child murders. There was a riot, not a riot, but there was an attack by white supremacists. I think this was in North Carolina where they killed a bunch of black folks. Right in the late 70s, early 80s. So they started to get their confidence back in the late 70s, early 80s. But you know, they still had to organize more because they couldn't do any direct attacks, because then around in the 80s you saw what happened down in Miami. You had that the riot down in Miami where an officer killed a brother on a motorcycle, and then the brothers out there in Miami started snatching up people in the dominant society and murking them. You understand? Yeah, so a lot of blaxploitation movies did pacify to a certain degree. What was it about in the late 70s in particular? Well, what happened, the late 70s, you had a bunch of people who were really Vietnam vets. A lot of them were Vietnam vets. The Vietnam War was over like 1973, 74 officially. So you had all of these disgruntled white supremacists who were defeated in Vietnam, I'm sorry. They were defeated in Vietnam, and they felt defeated here because now you had black people occupying all of these major cities. Got it? It was black people now living in all these major cities, and then you had a bunch of black mayors that started in the late 70s. And we're in the 70s period. You know, LA got the first mayor, Tom Bradley. You had, what was the mayor of Detroit? Coleman Young. You had those type of people coming into position. I won't even say power, but being put in positions. And many of the lower level white supremacists felt, well, damn, what's happening to our country now? We're being defeated abroad, and now we're being defeated at home. So then, in the 70s, you had, in the late 70s, and then you had Watergate. You had the Watergate scandal with Nixon being thrown out, and Nixon, he was a white supremacist, so he got thrown out. So you had people like Reagan starting to come into power in the late 70s, okay? Harold Washington in Chicago, of course. Of course. You had Black Mayor in Cleveland. You had all these black mayors being put into these major cities now. So the white supremacists felt slighted. So then Reagan came along. Reagan was coming into power. Reagan was galvanizing the white supremacists using that dog whistle language. Look up Lee Atwater. He talked about how they had to use coded language. They had to redefine. They had to, this is very important, they had to refine themselves. White supremacy had to go through a refinement stage. So instead of being covert with their racism, they learned, okay, look, in order to keep a white supremacist agenda, we're going to have to use code words. And Lee Atwater said, and he was on video saying this in the early 80s, he was like, hey, politics is different now. We can't say nigga, nigga, nigga no more. We got to use code words. We got to use shit like busing, taxes, lower crime, forced busing. We got to use stuff like that, which are code words for black folks. You dig? We got to use these code words, and all these words mean black people are going to come out on the short end. Black people are going to do worse than us. You know, so they had to galvanize and redefine their words and their language, and then get everybody white on that code. And this started in the late 70s. And then Ronald Reagan, he was using these code words like welfare queen. That was a code word for black women. He was using these terms, well, yeah, these welfare queens are milking the system, meaning us hard-working white people are working while these niggas are sitting up getting everything. So they were dog whistling the hell out of these little terms in the late 70s. Yeah, all that talking, all that food stamp bullshit, when most of the food stamps is white people. So the late 70s had the David Dukes and all these people rising up, being more sophisticated. Then you had books like the Turner Diaries. These books came out in the late 70s. The Turner Diaries came out around 1978, again, giving white supremacists the blueprint on what to do. You understand? They start putting out literature telling them how to get on code, what to do. They started to define the narrative on their terms. You dig? And by this time, you know, we're going into the late 70s, black people are getting comfortable with these token positions that a lot of black leadership is getting into, well, just black representatives. A lot of us are getting very comfortable with that. So they wanted to come up with programs to kind of lull us to sleep. So while we're asleep, they stay awoke. They stay woke. The white supremacists are always woke. And understand, while Ronald Reagan was talking all that welfare queen, and also Ronald Reagan, he was the one who reversed a lot of the affirmative action things that helped black people. He reversed a lot of that in the 80s. That's why they love Ronald Reagan to this day. The so-called white supremacists, well, the so-called Republicans, and really a lot of white supremacists, they love Ronald Reagan. They love Ronald Reagan. Because Ronald Reagan did a lot of things to decimate black society. He helped bring those drugs in. Bringing in that cocaine and all that stuff. So again, we got to understand when these people are dog whistling, we got to understand what they're doing, and we got to be on our shit. But this is why it's very important for us to define what the narrative is, because what happens, people in the dominant society, they'll say stuff, and then we'll just pick up on what they say and run with it, and we got to stop doing that. Power is all about defining your reality and also defining the reality of others. And you define reality by controlling the narrative and defining the definitions of things. You understand? Even with yourself, the way you view yourself and the way you define yourself is the way the dominant society is going to define you. It's the way society in general is going to define you. This is why black people, you're going to have to learn how to use words effectively. This is why we try to get black folks on code, and black people, we get too many black folks stuck on the dumb shit. But black people, your words and the way you define yourself, it starts there. Let's talk real. Can we talk some real talk tonight? Can we have real talk tonight? When I see a lot of rappers, let's use rappers for example. When you name yourself, that's a reflection of how you feel about yourself psychologically. You see a lot of rappers with names like Dusty Black and Old Dirty Negro. You know, rappers they'll have names defining themselves in a very derogatory way. They define themselves in a derogatory way. You know, it's always a mushmouth nigga with a name like MC Greasy Black. You know what I'm saying? And the way you define yourself is the way people are going to treat you. You know, there's a rapper named Crunchy Black. Lil this, Lil that, Young this, Young that. And when you call yourself little and young, and I'm not shitting on the rappers who are little and young, but you're putting yourself almost in a subordinate position. You're saying, I'm a child. I'm a baby. I'm young chicken McNugget. I'm little booty stain. You understand? You're putting yourself in a childlike subordinate position on a subconscious level. You understand? I mean, whether you know it or not, your name, the way you define yourself is very powerful. And if you spit from a powerful position, people respect that. For example, look at some of the legendary rappers. Rakim Allah. Look at the legendary rappers. Rakim. That's a powerful name. That's an Islamic name. It's a Muslim name. At the time, when Rakim came out during the golden era, you know, you had MC Rock the Spot and MC this and MC that, but Rakim came out. My name is Rakim Allah. That's powerful. This is why Rakim still gets respect to this day. That's a legend. KRS-One. His name is Knowledge Reigns Supreme over nearly everyone. That's power. He came from an empowering standpoint. Queen Latifah. Big Daddy Kane. Not little. Not young. I'm Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane is a legend today. Tupac. Now, Tupac's name used to be MC New York. Very typical. But when he said, no, I'm Tupac, that's powerful. Lord Jamar, the Brand Nubians. That's power. They get respect to this day. The way you speak your name is very important because that's how people are going to respect you. The Notorious Big, not Lil Biggie, not Lil Smalls. The Notorious Big. Grand Poobah. My man, Nasir. These names are very important. The way you define yourself is the way people are going to respect you. You dig? When you see niggas with names, and I'm not shitting on you, Lil Uzi, Young Thug, I ain't shitting on you, Young Thug. I'm just making a point here, brother, because I know you might be listening. But when you see cats with names like that, you're not shocked when you see them wearing dresses. You're not shocked when you see them on the album cover in a blouse and their stomach out. You're not shocked when you see dudes like that rocking that type of energy. You understand? I mean, Jay Prince. But the way you define yourself, it starts with yourself first. How do you define yourself? You understand? How do you define yourself? Even with your birth name, you can change your name. If your name is Eugene Jr., you might, a lot of times when you come in the room, a lot of people are embarrassed by their birth name. You can change your name if you don't like it. I remember when I would go to the clubs back in the day when I was single, ready to mingle, ready to swing the dingle. I meet girls and they might be from a certain part of LA, a certain part of the hood. And a lot of times they'd be embarrassed to say what their name is. Like, hey, what's your name? Shaquanda. You dig? A lot of women would be embarrassed. And there's some dudes who are embarrassed to say their name. Hey, women, you meet a guy, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Freaquan. So, you know, a lot of cats ain't gonna say Freaquan with a lot of confidence. You dig? You can change your name if you want to. I always say, look, change your name. If your name doesn't give you the power you need, change your damn name. You can change it. You can change your name. You're not reserved to just having the same name. You can change your goddamn name. Change it into something strong. But the thing is, even with cats' nicknames, with your nickname is very important too, because the way you choose to have a nickname, that's a definite reflection of you. And a lot of black folks, especially the sisters, if you have a nickname, with ladies, they'll have a nickname, but it'll still be something that's non-empowering. It'll be named after, your nickname is some food or something. Peaches, pumpkin, tasty, you know, it's something about eating. That ain't shit. You dig? You can change your name into something powerful, so when you walk in a room and let people know what your name is, they're going to put some respect on it automatically based on what you tell people to call you. You dig? Peanut. Now, I gave Peanut that nickname. Peanut actually doesn't like that. She really don't like that. But it kind of stuck. It's something that stuck in the family. And I named her that. I started calling her that because on our first date, she's putting her feet up on my damn dashboard. I'm like, you crazy as hell. You nutty than a motherfucker. I'm going to call you Peanut because you nutty. You in the car just doing all types of crazy shit. So I called her that because I thought she was acting nutty on our first date. You dig? But, oh no, Peanut hates that name. So if y'all ever meet Peanut, don't walk up to her, call her Peanut. Just say Lexi. That's her real name. But don't say Peanut. She really don't like it. Well, she likes it with the family. The family, because we're used to saying it. Mama Peanut is kind of funny. But the way you define yourself, the way you speak, your name is very powerful. And the confidence you have when you speak your name is very powerful. That's why on the streets of LA, my name was King Flex. So when I walk in a room or get on the phone with somebody and let them know who it was, I made them put respect on my name. You understand? Because if you have a name like that, you better live up to it. You understand? Just like Brother Booker T. Coleman. Brother Booker T. Coleman, which is pretty much named after Booker T. Washington, but Booker T. Coleman, He changed his name later on in life when he was an older gentleman. He changed his name to Kaba Kamene. Powerful name. Powerful name. You dig? But when you walk in a room, the way you say your name is the way people are going to respect you. Not just what the name is, that's one part of it, but the way you present yourself. The way you present yourself is very, very important. Now, once you've established that you're presenting yourself a certain way, you got to learn how to control the narratives all around you. Now, when a lot of stuff happens to us, the media, they love to control and redefine the narrative. For example, when we see black football players protesting in the NFL, you notice the media and the politicians, they keep repeating the lie that they're protesting against the national anthem. You understand that? That's a lie. They're not protesting the national anthem. But the dominant society, they understand the power of controlling the narrative. Keep telling a lie over and over again. Tell the lie over and over again so that it will stick and so that the victims of white supremacy will go along with the lie. But these players, Kaepernick and all these people, they are not protesting the national anthem. They're protesting systematic white supremacist abuse against black people. You understand? We have to always say that. This is why we need to utilize social media in a way where we're defining the narratives online at least. All of us should be saying the same thing. When they try to redefine the narrative, we take the narrative back and say, no, this is not a national anthem protest. We're protesting white supremacist violence. That should be said repeatedly online. The problem is when white mommy and white daddy say something, we fall in line and go along with it. That's a problem. We got to stop doing that. Understand the first step of dominating something is controlling the narrative. Black people, you will never control the narrative if you're not dominating what that narrative is. You're going to have to learn how to walk in and define things. That's what the white supremacists do. When they show up, they start naming shit. Okay, I just showed up on this land. There's a bunch of dark people. I'm going to call this land America. I don't know what y'all called it before, but I'm going to call it America since I'm here. And you niggas can't stop me because I got them things in there. I got some cannons and I got some guns. And we got a code that y'all don't have. Y'all don't understand what we're about. So they come over and they start defining the land. Then they see a bird. Okay, I'm going to define that bird. That's a cockatoo. Just made it up. All right, what's that over there? That's a snake. I'm going to call that a rattlesnake. That's a tree. I'm going to call that a fig tree. They start naming everything. You understand? That's naming things is a habit of power. That's what you do when you are trying to be empowered. We got to start doing that same thing. This is why the white supremacists hate when you label them white supremacists, because they go out of their way to deceive you. Understand, warfare is deception. The white supremacists are waging warfare on you. So they're constantly trying to deceive you. And they're going to deceive you by using certain words that they say have a certain meaning, but they know what the real meaning is. So they start using words like, well, we're just going to do a little gentrification. Gentrification is basically white supremacy. We're going to move, as white people, we're going to move you out and we're going to move in. They use terms that confuse their victims. Segregation is a confusing term. They say, well, look, we have segregation here. But to combat segregation, we're going to have integration. But you haven't really defined what segregation is. Segregation is really just white supremacy. Urban planning. All of these are terms for white supremacy. They love throwing out terms that are very confusing to black people. We think it means something else, and it means another. Minority is a very confusing term. I won't say confusing because the white supremacists are not confused by it. They use it to confuse their victims, black people. It's a deceptive term, but it's confusing to black people. When the white supremacists use the term minority, they know it's a trick word, and they have black people thinking, okay, well, they got a minority program, so that means me and other people of color are going to benefit. And the white supremacists are like, well, hell, we just redefine what a minority is. A minority is a white woman. A minority is a gay white man. A minority is a handicapped white man. A minority is a white man with 185th Native American. A minority is a white Hispanic. So when they give a minority program and all the money is funneled back to white society, we're sitting there like, damn, what happened? Well, hey, black, we gave you a minority program. Damn, come on. We just gave you a minority program and you didn't do anything with it. But damn, where's the money? We gave it to you minorities. Come on. Why don't you pull yourselves up by your bootstraps? And they're nudging each other like, got these stupid niggas again, didn't we? We got them again, didn't we? Because they can run that game on us when we are afraid to say what the fuck we need to be. Hey, where's the programs for black folks? Well, what about those Native Americans? What about them? I'm asking you about the programs for black people. Well, what about those Hispanics? I mean, they're minorities too. No. They can hold their own nuts. I want to know what's going on for black folks. I'm not a minority. I'm not a person of color. I'm black, so I need some shit for me. Well, that's reverse racism. You can't have reverse racism. You have corrective action against racism, and that's what these benefits are supposed to be for. But we're so afraid to say black. We're so afraid to do that. We let other people come in and rob us and piggyback off of us. And you got to argue with Negroes. I got to argue with these NAACP Negroes who's out here campaigning and caping for Hispanics and Asians and all these other groups. You got to fight with the NAACP coons and the bedwenches and the Negroes at the root and all of these places who's trying to be on some intersectionality kumbaya coon brigade. You understand? And notice all these Negroes out here caping for these other groups. At the gay rights rally, all is the Negroes in the front row. In the Hispanic thing, in the immigration thing, Negroes out there on the front line for that. A brother just got executed in front of his family down here in Florida, and they're not going to even punish the white supremacists who did it. This is a big story going on right now. Brother shot in cold blood down there in Clearwater, Florida, by a white supremacist who's not going to get charged. Where are all of these immigrant groups, Hispanic groups, the La Raza and all these people? Where are they? Where are these minority groups now? Where are these gay groups that we're supposed to be all intersectionality up with? Where are they now? Have y'all heard anything? I haven't. I haven't heard anything from the gay groups, the intersectionality groups, the Hispanic, the Asians, the East Indians, the Native, all of these groups that we're supposed to be caping for and we're supposed to be intersectionality up with. I ain't heard shit from them on this brother getting shot in cold blood in front of his family. They ain't said a goddamn thing. They haven't said nothing. Crickets all day, nothing. And the minute one of them get hemmed up, oh, Lord Jesus, Lord, give me that sign, Lord. All lives matter. All lives matter. We jump up for these other damn groups. And they don't make a peep when we get injustices like this. You understand? This is why we're going to have to define the narrative and how shit is going to go down. This is why we're defining the narrative as you guys over there going to have to hold your own nuts. Well, I thought we were in this together. No. That's kind of messed up what you're going through, but you're going to have to handle that, brother. The Native Americans, come on, man, the pipeline, we need... Martin Luther King once said, we all in this together. Well, Martin Luther King got shot by white supremacists, so I'm good. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to handle that. You got to go on out there and hold your own nuts. You dig? We got to stop jumping in the forefront of everything when the gay rights groups and all that stuff pop up. Hey, come on, man, we need you to join the rally because Donald Trump is trying to reverse some of the progress that Obama made. Come on, man. You guys got to help. Being gay is just like being black, huh? When were y'all Jim Crowed? When are white gay people mass incarcerated? When did white gay people build up a country for 400 years and didn't even receive the benefits of that labor? How are we the same? What? Y'all got to hold your own nuts. You got to hold your own nuts. We're going to have to define the narrative and not be afraid. What they going to do? They ain't supporting us anyway. What are black people afraid of now? Black people are afraid to tell motherfuckers no? What they gonna do? They ain't supporting you anyway. You ain't benefiting from none of them. You ain't benefiting from none of these groups, black folk. Let's just be real. You ain't benefiting from none of these groups. You ain't getting anything tangible out of them. So what are you going to lose by saying, no, I'm not really supporting your movement because I got my thing over here going on? So what am I supporting? I don't need to support you. You know what it is? You don't want to say no because you're going to miss out on some of that sex. You understand? You're going to miss out on some of that pink booty and pink balls. That's what you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on some of them butter biscuit crumbs because approval from the dominant white society has been seen as currency to the Negro mind. We got to get that Negro mentality out of here. This is why they can come in and harm black people at will. And black folks do nothing about it. You understand? And speaking of my brother who got killed down there in Florida, in Clearwater, Florida, and I talked about this the other day on YouTube. The brother was coming out of a convenience store or a liquor store, whatever. And there was this white supremacist, Michael Drake or something like that, who was known in that area as a white supremacist. He's known to hang out at that particular store, racially antagonizing people. He was known for that. He's sat around that store calling black people niggas. He's threatened to shoot black people before. I think people have called the police on him, but nothing has been done about this dude. Nothing's been done about him. They let this dude terrorize the neighborhood. So he was waiting on an opportunity to kill a black person, and he got his opportunity. He was just trying to poke around and see if he can get the opportunity to provoke or to instigate an incident where he can kill a black person, and that's exactly what he did. And the race soldiers all got on code. The police chief down there, when he killed that black man, he started talking that, well, this is stand your ground. I mean, this is the stand your ground law. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I mean, we have to respect the law. That's bullshit. That's them trying to redefine the narrative. And we got to stop letting them define the narrative. Stand your ground is bullshit. Don't ever use that. Whenever they start killing black folks, notice they always take the focus off white supremacy, which is what this was. This was white supremacy. Don't let them start throwing out stand your ground law and all that, because what happens is we'll start focusing all of our energy to remove the stand your ground law. Man, we got to get rid of the stand your ground law. That stand your ground law, man, we got to get rid of that. It ain't about stand your ground. It's the I'm white and I say so law. It ain't about stand your ground. Because the law can be arbitrarily applied based on race. So it ain't about the damn law. It's about the white supremacist I'm white and I say so rule. Let's not even use the term stand your ground. Don't even use that term when you're talking about what happened. That was a white supremacist attack, and it was a white supremacist code they got on. You have to call it what it is. When you call something by name, you will come up with ways to deal with that thing. If you do any 12-step program, the first rule of addressing a problem is acknowledging the problem correctly. The problem is we won't acknowledge the problem correctly. The white supremacists throw out all these bullshit terms that they've defined, and then we try to define or rectify these bullshit terms, and we keep going back into the same circle. Let's go back to segregation. They told us, well, the problem in the 1950s and 60s is Jim Crow segregation. So what's the opposite of that? Integration. What the fuck is integration? What's integration? The problem wasn't that black people could go and drink from a water fountain. That wasn't the problem. The problem was there were resources and laws inflicted upon black people or deprived from black people based on race. That's white supremacy. So there's no such thing as integration or segregation. Those are terms that literally don't mean anything. So when they start talking about stand your ground, then we say, oh, we're gonna go fight to change that law. Then they come up with something else. They come up with laws. They make up laws out their ass. Stand your ground. Stop and frisk. You understand? Tuck and roll. They'll make up a law overnight. And it's the same damn thing. We got to address the root, not the leaves. The root of the problem is white supremacy. We got to address that. And we got to deal with white supremacy head on. And you deal with it first by naming it, calling it what it is. This is why I told you earlier, naming something, especially yourself, is the most important thing. So when they keep talking about this is the stand your ground law, or this is the stand your ground case, so we are not talking about the real problem, which is white supremacists getting on code. We're talking about stand your ground, and that's what the media is talking about, which is an empty-ass conversation. Remember when Trayvon Martin got killed? The whole conversation was about stand your ground, and that wasn't even really a stand your ground case, and they're talking about Skittles. It's the Skittles case. When that other kid got shot down there in Florida, Jordan Russell Davis, I think that's his name. Remember what the media was calling that? They called that the Thug Music Trial. Remember that? They were calling that the Thug Music Trial, where it was really about him having his music up too loud. No, it wasn't. You notice, see how they'll try to define what the real deal is? They'll redefine it. They will, yeah, they called it, yes, Google that. They were calling it the Thug Music Trial. Yeah, they got that dude in prison. They had to go through 2 trials to get that dude in prison. You dig? Because they were trying to get him off. They were trying to get him off. You dig? That's why the media was calling it that thug music trial bullshit. They were trying to get the other white supremacists on code. You dig? That's what I said. Like, if you're going to use stand your ground, anytime you use stand your ground, even talk about it in terms of how black people can use it against white supremacists. That's how you talk about it. Don't talk about it. Remember, define the narrative yourself. Okay, you want to talk about stand your ground? Let's talk about it. So, is it legal for black people to stand their ground when white supremacists attack us? Are you saying that we should kill them? Is that the new law? Is that stand your ground? Let's get into question mode like Neely Fuller says. So, you said this brother pushed that white supremacist down and that was justification for him to be murdered? Okay. So when the white supremacists keep harassing us, which is why we're seeing videos every day of some random white supremacists going up to black families at swimming pools, black children, black people at the park, black people trying to barbecue. We're trying to live our lives and random white supremacists are coming up to us in a very hostile manner. Some of them are even putting their hands on us. Based on your law now, we should kill them then, right? We're justified in killing them. Is that what you're saying with the stand your ground law? You reframe that narrative and you bring it back to you and how it's going to empower you. You understand? And if they say yes, that's okay. You can the law applies to you. Well, damn it, let's get it popping. Everybody, every Negro in Florida should be standing his damn ground. You should have stood your ground against that white supremacist when he was harassing people in the first place. You understand? We're going to have to redefine the narrative. Come here, Mama Peanut. It's locked? It's not locked. Hold on. Yo, hold on. Mama Peanut is at the door. Hold on. Where? What's up with that, guys? Okay, boy, you dress real. Hold on, look at what Mama Peanut got on. Hold on.
I don't have anything on at all.
Mama Peanut about to hit the streets. Where you about to go?
Yeah.
Hold on. What, is this appropriate what Mama Peanut got on? Show them what you got on, Mama.
A t-shirt and pants. Is that appropriate? Is that even a question?
Let's see.
Please.
Well, you come here. That niggas be tripping. What the hell you got on some jeans for? Jeans? Fuck is it? You out here skeezer. You a skeezer, nigga. You smell good. Where you going? You smelling good? Where the fuck you going?
I didn't take a shower. What you talking about?
Huh? What you got on? I know it's hot as hell in here. The boys sleep?
No, they
you got them in bed?
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So where you going?
You know where I'm going, and we're going to eat.
Oh, okay. You got on some side nigga cologne. I don't know what that smells.
This is not cologne.
A perfume. You got on some side nigga perfume. Side nigga by Liz Claiborne.
Ooh, it's hot as shit.
I know it's hot as hell in there. Man. There you go. I know.
What people say?
They say. They say she going to meet Crispy. Are you serious? All right.
I'm going to eat crab. Remember it?
Yes, eat them. Yeah, y'all about to go to the crab place?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't go to the crab place. So that crab is fucking up my gout.
These pants, they're put raggedy pants on.
No, please. Man. All right, I'll talk to you in a minute. Man. Man. But yeah, like I was saying, man, we gotta we have to be on code where we define the narratives of what's happening out here. and understand we got to be in a position where we start nipping things in the bud. Not only do we control the narrative, we got to control the actions. We got to control the narratives, we got to define the narratives, and we got to control the actions. We got to start playing chess. You dig? Because we ain't even on the board right now. In certain places, like Florida, not only is Florida not taking the initiative against the white supremacists, even when the white supremacists strike, cats are just sitting on their ass. I had some people hit me up last night. They were talking about they're going to do a protest over at the store where the guy got shot. And let me say this. Black people, and I want y'all to listen, black people, if you're not going to challenge white supremacy every day, and I said this to a young lady on Twitter earlier, if you're not going to challenge white supremacy on a daily basis, you get up every day, no matter what you do, if you work at a job or you're a basketball player, you do music or whatever, you can do all that shit, but still challenge the system of white supremacy. You can do it overtly, you can do it covertly, but you need to be in the mindset where you're trying to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice every single day. That should be the number one thought in your mind. Whatever you do, okay, am I going to be constructive? Like Neely Fuller said, is this going to be constructive or is it going to be non-constructive? You dig? Now, marching and protesting. You got to ask yourself, if I go down here in front of this store and march around in front of the cameras, is that going to be constructive or non-constructive? And the last 50 years has told us protesting at a damn store is non-constructive. It just doesn't do anything. We're past that. I always tell black people, you got to envision yourself in Nazi Germany. Imagine if you were a black person, because the Nazis killed black people too. But imagine yourself being in Nazi Germany during World War II. You know what the Nazis are planning. You know what they're trying to do. Would protesting in front of a store in Nazi Germany, would that help anything? We're going to, yeah, they're putting us in ovens, but we're going to go protest. Because we got to understand, people, the white supremacists are in the millions in this country. And the white supremacists are on code. We think white supremacy, too many black folks think, when you think white supremacy, you think of a white extremist. Why? Because the white supremacists, they tell you that's what a white supremacist is. To the dominant society, a white supremacist is the alt-right Klan or somebody in a card-carrying white extremist group, or a white or a racist is a black person who don't like white supremacy. But nothing else to them, if you let them tell it, constitutes white supremacy. Now, they know that's bullshit. They know that's bullshit. But understand, there's a reason why these millions of white supremacists around the country elected a white supremacist. They elected Trump. That lets you know who's in this country. In Milwaukee, last night, they had a baseball game. Hader. What's that guy's name? Josh Hader, I think that's his name. He's a baseball player, a white supremacist baseball player. He had some tweets some years back calling black people all types of niggas. Shout out to you, Brenda. He was calling black people all types of niggas, yelling white power, doing all types of racist shit on Twitter. His tweets were outed. He apologized, which meant nothing. Talking about he was young at the time. The white supremacists always use that. Yeah, Josh Hader. So his racist, anti-black tweets came to light. What's up, Arden Plumbing? Much respect, brother. Shout out to you. I wish you were out here, brother, to come out here and do some work on my plumbing, because these guys out here ain't shit. But Josh showed up at the Brewers game last night, and all the suspected white supremacists gave him a standing ovation. When his racist tweets came to light, they stood up and gave him a standing ovation. All the white supremacist suspects out there in Milwaukee. You understand? What they were saying is, hey, you're on our team, buddy. What they were saying to him, and these are the same people who boo black players for standing up against racism. Understand? These same people are calling black football players all types of sons of bitches and all this for standing up against racism. They're shunning these athletes. But this white dude, white supremacists, call black people all types of shit, and they gave him a standing ovation in Milwaukee. Now you understand why Sheriff Clark was the sheriff out there for so long. Now you see, in Milwaukee, and Wisconsin has a lot of white supremacist groups up there. One of the most racially segregated states, by the way. But these are the people in the dominant society. That's what you have. So when you're protesting, understand those are the people you're protesting to. Now, Hulk Hogan, now he was calling black people all types of niggas, and he was shunned for a minute. But now, again, remember, white supremacy, the white supremacists don't get fired, they get transferred. He's getting back into the WWE. They're putting him back in the Hall of Fame. They're going to bring him back out, and watch the response he gets from all the white supremacist suspects. They don't get fired. They just get transferred. Yeah, Sheriff Clark taking that Russian money. So, yeah, they done pulled his coon card. They're about to throw him under the bus. You know? But we got to understand, they don't get fired. They only get transferred. They only get transferred. And when you're protesting, these are the people you're protesting to. This is why it's completely useless. This is why what are they going to do? You think, who are you protesting to? Protesting is begging. Do you understand that? Protesting, when you go out there protesting, all you're doing is begging the white supremacists to not harm you. That's what a protest is. You're saying to them, please, can you leave me alone? Please, can somebody white come help me? That's what protesting is. When you go out here, you beg, please, can y'all not be so hard on us? That's not going to work, family. That's not going to work at all. You're going to have to start handling things from a position of strength. You understand? You're trying to ask a bully to stop. We've been doing that for too long. They ain't going to stop. You're going to have to stop them. You understand? This right here. This is one of my favorite books that's out right now. It's a short book. This book is like what, 100 and something pages? Yeah, it's a short book, but it's a very powerful book. I've been promoting this book heavy. We've been promoting it on the show. I love this book. This is one of my favorite books. This is a couple of my favorite books. Now, this is Darlene's. Her book is very good. Shout out to Darlene, because I'm a hip hop fan, and this sister, she's breaking down this Ice-T's ex-lady, and Darlene break down a lot of stuff from LA hip hop. Another book that's good, my man Dame Dash, Culture Vultures. These are books that I'm rocking with now. My man Dame Dash and my brother Kenyatta, they wrote this book. This is Culture Vultures. So these are the books that I'm rocking now. But this one right here, Avoid the Machines, man. Y'all, this is like required reading right here. This is required reading, Avoid the Machines. It's a novel about a futuristic story about this. You get on Barnes & Nobles, by the way, about how black people were put into like these townships, and a small group of black people got together and started a revolution. Real heavy book. Real heavy book. Avoid the Machines. You can get it on Barnes & Nobles and on Amazon too. But is it on? I don't know if it's on Kindle or not. I don't know if it's on Kindle. But the thing is, we got to understand warfare. Yeah, the book is Aboard the Machine. It's talking about, it's a real deep book on guerrilla warfare tactics. Real good book. Real heavy book. And yeah, Jay Prince's book was good. I like Jay Prince's book. His book was real good. I just read that one too. I'm going to have Darlene on ism too. I got to get Darlene, and I got to get Zoe on there too. But yeah, I got to have Darlene on ism radio, because I've been wanting her, because I'm a big fan of the hip hop era, the early hip hop, and she talks a lot about early hip hop of LA in her book. And it's a very good book about her life. But we got to understand that being in a position where we're reactive to the white supremacists, we got to re-strategize, because we are reacting to the things that they define. They define things, and then we react to their definitions of things. We got to take a preemptive approach to dealing with white supremacy. You understand? This is why we have to initiate. Good book, very good book. AW, I might have to do that. But as far as protests, that's just not working. That's just not going to work. And at this point, because, and let me talk about some things that black folks need to do on some urban survival thing. And another thing too, I started a Facebook group called the Melanoid 300. I started a Facebook group, and it's super exclusive. We only have a few people in there now, only a handful, because I'm handpicking all the people that's going to be a part of this group. I'm handpicking the people. And I want my lawyers to hit me up, because I want to add you to the group. I want my lawyers. And also, I want people, and I'm calling it the Melanoid 300, because I want the only people that's going to be invited in that group, and it's a very private group, are people that's been rocking with me for a long time. Generally, a lot of people who's been around for a minute, you know, most likely you can get in easy. I want people who's been around for a while. Particularly the people, if you were people who contributed to Hidden Colors 1, most likely you can just get a fast pass in there. If you are here and you contribute, because I'm only going to have 300 people in there. It's not going to be a bunch of folks. I'm only going to have 300 folks in there. That's all I want. That's why I'm handpicking people right now. If you've been around for at least 5 years, or if you have contributed to Hidden Colors 1, which was damn near 10 years ago, if you contributed to Hidden Colors 1, you got to hit me up. And plus, I'm screening people. If you're a lawyer, hit me up, email me, info@tariqelite.com. This is going to be like a think tank strategizing group. And it's going to be exclusive, very private. If I know you, the people, there's only a handful of people in there now that I personally know. You understand? And I'm vetting them. There's one cat that I let in. I had to delete him because, and I forgot his name started with a J. He's been around for a minute, but I let him in the room. And then he started inviting a whole bunch of other people that I didn't know. So I deleted him, and I deleted everybody that he invited. I deleted everybody. Now, brother, I know you're probably listening. Not personal. Not personal at all, brother. But I'm dead serious about this thing. I don't want people in there that I don't know. I do not want people in there that I don't know. I'm not just indiscriminately adding people in the room. You know, I want some people that I know, people that I've screened. I'm going to have to screen you personally. It's only going to be 300 people in there. That's it. And you'll got to email me. You got to email me. If you are new, you just came around, you can't get in it. No disrespect. This is not personal. I'm really, really particular about who's going to be in this group. See, it's not private. I mean, you know, we ain't going to talk crazy, but it's just something that, you know, I want a small group of thinkers to be a part of. This is why I got to talk to you and correspond with you personally. And if you've been around, I want lawyers, people who we can talk law with. I want my military cats. I want my military cats in here. Email me. I want my business owners who's been around for a minute. You've been around since 2014. Holla at me. All my mods, they can get in. And I did. I changed the setting so that random people just can't add nobody in there. I already changed the settings. Yeah. I already changed the settings. But, you know, we're going to be, it's a very, very exclusive group. And, yeah, I'm thinking about doing Skype interviews or whatever, but Gary, shout out to Gary Miller. He hit me up, brother. I need my military cats in there. You dig? Because we need to know what's going on with some of these white supremacists coming out of the military. There's just a lot of stuff we need to know. I need my doctors, my herbalists, like, you know, natural charm, people like that, people who know medicine and herbs. We need to know all this stuff so we can chop up game. I need motivated people in this thing. I don't want people who just want to shoot the breeze. I want to be very clear. We're going to have to be bringing ideas, thoughts, and solutions. Yeah, Aki's already in there. You know, I know Aki. My man Rob Willie, he's in there. My man Uncut, he's in there. It's for men and women, absolutely. Women can, absolutely. We definitely want the sisters in there. We absolutely. Yes, we do. We want the sisters in there, but this ain't no gossip thing. Understand, we ain't going to be talking about weaves and edges and Nicki Minaj and all that shit. No. We're going to have some real people with some real conversation in there who can bring some thought and some ideas and help really bubble on some solutions on what we need to do. You understand? I need my researchers in there. I need cats who know how to research. You understand? Because we need to talk about what's going on and what the real deal is. If I want to, like, if a story comes out about some kind of food giving somebody cancer, I want some of my herbalists, some of my naturopathy doctors to come in and say, hey, this is what we need to avoid. And then we'll leave the group and we'll distribute that information on our platforms. But we got to have a central place where we can chop up game about what's what. You understand? That's why we need some good, thorough researchers in there. I need my military cats in there who understand. A lot of military guys understand gun laws in certain places. We need to understand that. We need to understand what these laws are and what we need to do to protect ourselves and sidetrack how some of these laws are worked against us. Like, for example, you know that dude, Officer Yanez, who killed our brother Philando Castile up there in Minnesota. This guy was going through some kind of military police training called Bulletproof Warriors. And there's this training thing where they go around basically teaching police officers how to kill people and get away with it, and words to use. See, I want my military cats in there to let us know about some of these shits. You understand? I need my military cats to, because I know y'all hear about certain things. And I need my military cats to let us know what type of little groups are out here low-key working against us. You understand? Yes. Aki, are you in here? Is Aki in the room? Because they took Aki off of Twitter. Yeah, Aki, she's Henrietta Snacks on Twitter. Aki, are you in here, dear? That's what I said. I want some business owners in there too. My brothers and sisters, if you own businesses, I would like for you to be a part of the group so we can find ways to direct people to you. Because if you own a business, that means you're about handling things. I want to be able to direct people to you, to support you. There was a brother who had a great business in Chicago, and he was being racially targeted. And I wanted to put something together to get the community to help this brother's business because he was in a white part of town, and those white supremacists hated the fact that this brother was getting so much business. So they would file noise ordinances against him. They would just do everything to undermine this brother. And I really wanted to get the community to really step up with this brother and help him out, but it was too late. They ended up shutting this brother down. You dig? So this is why we need this think tank of serious people so that we can make sure stuff going on in different cities, we can have a support mechanism that we can dispatch and come up with ways to figure out how to get folks to support, just different things like that. Yes, we need some brothers in law enforcement too. We need some brothers in law enforcement who can chop up game with us and let us know what's going on. You understand? Because when I'm on the road, I meet cats in law enforcement and they let me know what's going on in certain cities on the low. You dig? No, this ain't for HC5. No. This is just something that we're going to keep going. This is something we need to keep going. But understand, when it comes to us doing something successful, we got to understand, black people, it ain't enough to be successful. We think, and we're told, because the white supremacists, they, again, dominate the narrative. They tell black people, well, the problem is with you Negroes, you just don't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The problem is you black people, if you just work hard, you wouldn't have to deal with no racism. If you work hard and get off your little black asses, you dig? Shout out to Terry Lomax, that's my sister. Yeah, I've been knowing you for years, Terry, and I met Terry. She just texted me. So Terry, yeah, you and your hubby, y'all can definitely get in the group. Hold on one second. Hold on, sorry about that. I'm trying to text her back, goddamn. But like I said, when it comes to us, we're told, okay, just get off that little black ass of yours and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And when we try to do that, we become a bigger target. You see all these little black children trying to be entrepreneurs, and they getting the police called on them. Little black girl trying to sell lemonade, they call the police on her for not having a license. A little black boy cutting grass to make money, they call the police on the little black boy. Out there in Minnesota, a little boy selling hot dogs, they called the health department on this kid. And fortunately, the city came together to support this kid. What's up, Sean? You met me at the Betty T. Ferguson Center. That's what's up. Also, even established businesses, when you become too successful, you become a threat. Just like the brother in Chicago. His business was becoming a little too successful. Then they got him up out of there. See, we got to understand, the more successful we become, we still become a target of white supremacy. We don't nip that in the bud. That's why we got to have a protection mechanism. When I was down in Miami, my man Carl, the promoter, took me to this delicious Jamaican spot. Oh, man, this Jamaican spot over there in Miami Gardens was off the chain. And the man who owned the franchise, he ended up dead. They talk about he committed suicide. That don't sound right. You dig? I'm suspicious of all these suicides black people start doing when we become successful. All of a sudden, we done jumped in a damn river somewhere. And it don't make no sense. The Golden Crust. Right. The Golden Crust. Man, have y'all had the Golden Crust? In certain cities that it's in. It was in a few cities. But this brother was doing the damn thing. The Golden Crust was off the fucking chain. And then he committed suicide. Man, please. Man, the Golden Crust was the shit. No, I haven't been confronted by white supremacists, just by race soldiers, working as law enforcement. But, when I went to, we're out there in St. Louis. I did something in St. Louis, and I went to Sweetie Pie's restaurant in St. Louis. And Sweetie Pie's, that's why they kept expanding all over the place, because it's very successful. And there's like a line just going out the door in that place in St. Louis. And this was before they expanded to other cities. But Sweetie Pie's, they're just killing the game out there, making money hand over fist. And I noticed when we parked our car, because we had to park blocks away because so many people are in that area in St. Louis were going to Sweetie Pie's. And we went to our car, and we noticed all the other businesses, they've all band together to make flyers to put on people's cars to get them away from Sweetie Pie's. All these other white businesses around that area where Sweetie Pie's was, they were putting flyers on everybody's cars. Basically, they've given away free food at their places so they can get folks away from Sweetie Pie's. Yeah, a lot of white people eat at Sweetie Pie's, but those other white business owners, ain't nobody fucking with them. Those stores were empty. Everybody was making a beeline over to Sweetie Pie's. So they all got on code and like, hey, we need to do something about those niggas making all this money over here. You understand? Oh yeah, they fuck Famous Amos big time. They always coming up with ways to scam us. Wally Amos, and he lives in Hawaii now, and he has something, I think it's called the Big Kahuna Cookie Company or something like that, which is good. But they fucked him majorly because, again, we go into business with these folks, and we don't understand how white supremacy works. They run game on us, and they'll take everything away from you. They fucked Wally Amos so bad, the Famous Amos Cookies, he can't even use his name no more. He cannot even use his real name on any products no more. Them Famous Amos Cookies were off the chain. And are off the chain. They still got Famous Amos Cookies. They still got them. They got their name. They got that recipe and said, nigga, kick rocks. They got this nigga recipe and the name and told him to go eat a dick, nigga. So he's over there in Hawaii. He got another cookie company. And he's trying to do his thing, but dude, them cookies are off the damn chain. Them cookies are bomb as hell. We got to understand, these white supremacists will take your shit. Let me tell you something. Paula Dean's ass, I don't think none of them are her recipes. I believe she stole every single one of them damn recipes she got. I don't believe any of them are hers. She done probably stole them recipes from some mammy working for her. Look what I made, y'all. Look at my cornbread, y'all. Look what I made. I learned from my grandmama, y'all. Fuck out of here. Please. They'll steal your shit at the drop of a hat. So they hate when they can't steal your shit, and not only can they not steal your shit, you've capitalized off of it. Just like with Sweetie Pies. See, the thing is, I've seen restaurants, I've been to South Carolina before. There's a white-owned soul food place that's white-owned. The food is good. They got a bunch of black cooks, but it's white people who own it, and it's packed with white people. And it takes business away from all the other businesses, but what they're not doing is sabotaging that place. They're not going around putting flyers on people's cars trying to get them to go to their businesses. I ain't never seen that shit, what they did to Sweetie Pies in other places. I've never seen that. I've never seen all the businesses get together and go put flyers on people's cars on Sweetie Pie's customers trying to get them to go to their places. That's sabotage. They were trying to sabotage that sister's restaurant. You dig? This is my man Carl, the promoter. He was on Undercover Boss right after he filmed. Oh, I didn't know that. He was on Undercover Boss right after he filmed that. Okay, I didn't know that, Carl. I didn't know dude was on Undercover Boss. Wow. But yeah, they go out of their way to try to sabotage what we do. Where are my LA people? Where are my LA people? They kind of low-key do that in Hollywood for Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. On Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, the location in Hollywood on Gower, they would do the same thing. All those businesses, they got signs around. All my LA folks know, I was just at Roscoe's the other day. Don't you park here for Roscoe's. No Roscoe's parking here. If you park here, we're going to tow your car. No Roscoe's park. They got that all around the block for Roscoe's in Hollywood. You don't see that for other places. Where are my LA people? Show me in LA where you have, if you park at Mr. Child's, you're going to get towed. You know, they don't have this whole threatening demeanor for customers of other establishments. Yeah, and the Hollywood one is the best. The Hollywood one is the best, but they don't have a threatening demeanor for other businesses in LA like that. Yeah, they got that for the one in Inglewood too. Yeah, they got restaurants that's busy all over LA, but it ain't like if you park here for the Cheesecake Factory, we're going to tow your shit. They don't have that. They all work together. They ain't tripping that you parking in a parking spot. But with you go all around Roscoe's, they got those signs, no Roscoe's parking here. No Roscoe's parking here. It's this aggressive thing to target the customers of Roscoe's. You dig? So there's always this thing where they're trying to find ways to sabotage. They got Mr. Child's in Miami. Mr. Child's is good. Mr. Child's is good. It's not. Mr. Child's an Asian dude. But the thing is, like I said, man, this is very important. Why we always got to be on alert with systematic white supremacy, and we always have to define the narrative. Anytime we step in line with them, anytime we get around them, we have to control the narrative, and we have to control and take the initiative to control the outcome of everything. And we do that by understanding how white supremacy is constantly attacking us. This is why when we go in business, you know, we need to be able to use some of our resources to control the political realm of the city. Just like my brother in Chicago, who was being targeted by the white supremacist business owners, my man, and I know it's being a business and it's already a struggle, you know, getting your profit and all that stuff, but we gotta use some of that paper, especially if we have an establishment that's open to the public. We gotta get some of those politicians in our pocket. So when people are trying to file ordinances and all that, we got somebody uptown that's in the pocket who ain't gonna be on that bullshit. And that's why it was very smart for Roscoe's. You go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, they had pictures of Obama all over the place. You dig? They made sure that, you know, hey, look, and also what they did, they had something called the Obama Special. They named one of their dishes after Obama. You dig? So it's like, look, we're trying to have a friend in a high place here. You dig? So that's very important to understand politics. It's very important to understand politics and how to navigate through that. So we got to buy the block. Real talk. Real talk. But Chicago chicken and waffle, Chicago food is off the chain. Chicago food is definitely off the chain. But again, like I said, man, what we got to stop doing, we got to stop this marching stuff. We got to stop this begging and pleading the white supremacists to not hurt us, to not harm us. We're going to have to cut that out. That's not going to work. Again, I want you guys to take heed at the way the brothers here in LA were handling the white supremacists when they tried to roll up on Maxine Waters' spot out in South Central LA. The white supremacists were trying to use Maxine Waters really as a proxy. This is what the white supremacists, again, they make certain black people symbols of their real agenda. So they'll pick out one black person and be like, okay, we're really attacking her, but they're really attacking black people as a whole. And Maxine Waters was really a proxy. So what the white supremacists were going to try to do, they were going to use this whole fake outrage over Maxine Waters as an excuse to come down and try to occupy and stand up militarily to the black people in South Central LA. They thought they were going to come down here. They thought they were going to come down to LA, and it's very important for them to go to a place where black people are known to be aggressive. So they wanted to come out to LA, and they thought that the police were going to have their back. And what happened, those white supremacist groups, the Oath Keepers, came out, and the police told them, the LAPD told them, look, if y'all do something and there's a riot, the minute there's a riot, the LAPD, we're going to retreat. We're leaving. And you're going to be on your own. And those white supremacist groups didn't want that smoke. The Oath Keepers, they put out a statement the next day saying this. They said they had a conversation with the LAPD, and the LAPD told them if things went down, they're on their own. The LAPD know what the deal is, because they know if you come down to that community and instigate, because that's what they were trying to do. They wanted to instigate something, and they thought that they're going to get the LAPD and the military, because that's what the LAPD, they thought, you know, if something goes down, the National Guard and all that. So these white supremacist groups thought that they were going to have all that backing. They thought that they were going to have all that backing of the LAPD and the National Guard, and the LAPD told them, no, because we ain't trying to get those lawsuits on us. We know how these niggas are. They said, look, we're going to come down and we're going to make sure everything, we'll try to make sure everything is cool. But if you instigate something with them and they turn up on you, we out. You understand? Because the LAPD know what it is. They know when cats out here turn up, they ain't afraid of no damn LAPD. When it's on, it's on. And the LAPD can't stop it, and they know that. Especially if a known white supremacist group is going to come out here and instigate something, the LAPD, like, oh, we don't want them problems. No, we're ambushing niggas one-on-one, yeah, but no. Getting all of them on it, no. So LAPD let them know, you can go, but if something pop off, don't look at us, because we bouncing. And them white supremacists saw what was going down, and they knew what was going to pop off. And they saw cats weren't scared of them, and they saw that cats were about to light that ass smooth up. You understand? Look at the Rodney King riot. Understand. Look at the what happened with Rodney King. The LAPD was down there in LA. They will look. Let me tell you something. Because I was here during the '92 rebellion. I mean, they knew they were going to let those killer cops, those race soldiers off. They already knew. Even before the verdict, there were helicopters, military helicopters all over the place. Police were setting up shop all around South Central LA. And the people were like, okay, you can set up shop as much as you want to, but if this verdict ain't what it's supposed to be, all right. No, they set up shop all over LA. They set up shop. They knew what was going to happen. They set up shop, and the minute they said not guilty, all right. Then LAPD had to retreat. LAPD had to retreat because they started bucking at the cops. They started busting on firemen. They had to retreat. You understand? Even with the National Guard, nobody was scared of the National Guard, them tanks and all that shit. That didn't scare nobody. Cats was still turning up. Them tanks didn't scare nobody. You know, then they had to shut the entire city down. They started shutting off freeways and all this shit. Oh, hell, we're going to shut it down then. You dig? So they didn't want no more of them type of problems over some little rinky-dink ass low-level white supremacist group. And when the Oath Keepers tried to sneak around, they tried to sneak up. You had brothers in the neighborhood in South Central last week going around looking for them. So they weren't going to even allow them to go set up shop nowhere. They were actively looking for these white supremacists, and anybody who even looked suspicious, they ran them off the block. Because understand, the white supremacy is about warfare. Warfare is deception. So you had a couple of white supremacists sneaking up there next to Maxine Waters' office. And they tried to run game like, hey, I'm a reporter. I'm a journalist. And somebody was like, hey, man, you look kind of funny, dude. You look like Milo, and I don't like these questions you asking. Get the fuck off the block. No, I got a black cameraman. You're going to have a black eye and a black foot in your ass if you don't get off this block in 2 seconds. I'm not going to sit here and negotiate with you. There was another alt-right looking dude who kind of crept up at Maxine Waters in front of the office. Hey, I'm just here to support, I teach at a black school. And somebody said, well, what's the name of the principal? He couldn't name the principal. Get up off the block, nigga. They raised him up off the block. Like, get the fuck out of here before we hit you in your mouth with this pipe. You dig? That's how you handle that. You don't sit up here and just let these people run game on you talking that stupid ass bullshit. And notice in the media, they're talking about Maxine Waters supporters burned the flag. See what they're focusing on? And let me tell you something. This is why I don't like to hear none of that crap from these bedwenches talking about how black men don't protect, black men don't support black women. Let me tell you something. When these white supremacists were targeting a black woman's office, Zaddy didn't come to help her. None of these bedwenches came out to help her. It was black men cleaning that bullshit up down there. It was black men getting them white supremacists out the paint. I want y'all to be very clear. It was black men raising them up out of that neighborhood. It was black men holding that shit down. It was black men bringing it to them white supremacists' asses. Let's be very clear. Zaddy wasn't doing nothing. The bedwenches wasn't doing nothing. Zaddy didn't. The black feminists, they weren't doing nothing. Let's be very clear. The only people who have protected black women in history, black men. You dig? Zaddy wasn't nowhere. He wasn't there. He wasn't helping at all. I take my hat off to them brothers out there in South Central LA. Them brothers were ready for all the smoke. And then some white supremacists tried to pull up in a truck, and they had like some flags and all that. Them brothers ambushed the shit out that truck. They about to raise them up out that car and got them up out the spot quick. And like, we ain't about to let you come up here and bring a car. You ain't about to bring your car up here and possibly run folks over. No. Get your ass up out of here. You dig? That type of energy should happen all over the place. I want y'all to see the strategies that the brothers use. Because out here, and that's the thing, cats know how to get on code when it's time to get on code. And I don't like for us to get on code at the last minute. That's the unfortunate thing. A lot of times when we get on code is at the last minute. We need to always be on code. You dig? But the thing is, out here, Southern California, and again, these white supremacists tried that same thing. They tried to go to Orange County. They tried to have a little white supremacist march out there. And brothers caught their asses slipping and gave them that work. And brothers was beating their asses down in the streets. Heavy. They beat them the minute they got out their cars. Brothers was on them asses lighting them up. They're like, you ain't even about to set up shop out here at all. In these other cities, this is a problem. Y'all let them set up shop. When a white supremacist group say they're coming to your city, y'all should be on guerrilla warfare mode, finding out where they coming from, where they trying to park, all that shit. When these terrorists are trying to set up shop somewhere, understand, because law enforcement has been infiltrated by white supremacists, so they got friends in law enforcement. You got to catch these terrorists before they can get up there with that police protection. You got to catch their ass and shut them down quickly, just like the brothers did here in LA and Southern California. You got to shut them down quickly. You dig? Yeah, swirlers hide behind that keyboard. Swirlers love hiding behind the keyboard. But they ain't getting out there handling business. They're not handling that business, though. Yeah, and where that area was, that area, you had the Broadway Gangsta Crips, you had the Denver Lanes, you had the Hoover, so you had some real heavy hitters out there in that area. So cats were ready. So cats were ready. Point. Yeah, they're going to D.C. My D.C. cats, y'all got to be ready. Y'all got to be ready. My thing is this. All these black folks in D.C., look at how L.A. got down. Look at how L.A. neutralized the threat. You did what you don't want to do. You don't want to get in a position where you let them set up shop. Now they built up their strength mechanism and they're catching you slipping, because that's what they did in Charlottesville. They start catching black folks slipping and beating up black folks. They're catching you on an individual level. You understand? They're catching you slipping. And then you get charged because you got beat up. Remember, the brother out there in Charlottesville, he got beat up and then he got charged. Another brother got shot at and he got charged. That's the thing. And look at what LA did. They were doing a lot of stuff and they weren't doing it in front of the camera. You understand? A lot of them were in LA, they were avoiding the camera. Because in LA, in certain neighborhoods in LA, you're not even supposed to have cameras anyway. Because cameras, they look at that as a form of snitching. So when brothers was putting in work out here, You know, it was real quick. A lot of them, they had their face covered. Some cats had blue bandanas and shit on. You dig? So cats weren't getting their faces out there like that. And plus, they weren't doing shit in front of a camera. They were doing it on the slick. They were doing it as low-key as possible to be more effective. This ain't about showing out. This is about neutralizing a threat. See, we gotta fight terrorism. And it's really the black man. We gotta step into our power. We're the ones who are going to initiate justice. It's black, the sisters too, but really the black men, that's the warrior community. And we're going to have to act like it. What's up, Kiboro, the uncaged one? You're over here near the Hoovers and the Denver Lanes. What, you on Century? You must live over there on Century Boulevard. You dig? Florida law is different from Cali. Okay, what does that mean? All right, what does that mean? Explain that. He said Florida laws differ from Cali laws. Okay, so what does that mean? I want my brother to explain that. Manchester, Vermont. Okay. Oh, yeah. 25 upgrade. I want my man to explain that. 25 upgrade. He said that the laws are different. I want to know what that means. Yes, there's no power in a group without strong men. Exactly. This is why the white supremacists, they've been trying to cultivate a moist culture in black society. They like niggas dainty and moist. This is why dainty, moist niggas are promoted by the white supremacists. They love promoting niggas in dresses and skinny jeans. Okay, Florida laws are different. Okay, I want to know what you mean by the laws are different. I just want to know what that means. What does that mean? Because the thing is, the law should be, if the laws are different and the white supremacists are gunning you down because they got more relaxed gun laws, that's an advantage. You need to be pulling out that thing and standing your ground. There ain't no stand your ground in Cali. Well, the thing is, out here, they don't need no damn stand your ground law. That don't mean nothing. They don't need no stand your ground law. Cats are holding them things anyway. If they need to bust them things off, they gonna bust them. You dig? And also, they'll change the law anyway. It don't matter. The law is arbitrary when it comes to race. So you try to use the law as much as you can to your advantage, but understand, you have a law of nature where you're going to have to protect yourself. You understand? Hell, slavery was a law. Selling your child was a damn law. Putting people in ovens in Nazi Germany was a law. Every black person that used stand your ground in Florida got charged, yeah? Yeah, so the law is arbitrary. There's a saying, I'd rather be judged by a jury of 12 than carried by a group of 6 in a casket. So you got to make a choice. Do you want to be judged by a jury of 12 or carried in a casket by a group of 6? You understand? Because let's look at what happened to our brother down there in Florida who got killed by that white supremacist. Now, this brother goes out of a store. There's a white supremacist at his car who's armed, yelling at his wife and children. Now, what options did that brother have? That brother couldn't have just gotten in his ride and drove off with this crazed white supremacist yelling at his family. You don't know what this guy is going to do. So right there, you're at a disadvantage. Right there, you are at a disadvantage. You got a crazed white supremacist who's armed yelling at your family. The only mistake the brother made, and you don't never know what's going to happen, and I'm not saying this in a disparaging way, but he pushed the white supremacists away, which is a natural reaction. He was protecting his family. The thing is, now, and again, the brother didn't know the dude was armed, but you better assume that these white supremacists are carrying something if they're acting that crazy. You push them away, and then you frisk them. You kind of hem them up to the point where they can't reach for nothing. The brother pushed them down and then stepped back, and then the white supremacists reached for a gun. Now, folks, what you do when you interact with a white supremacist, you neutralize that threat. You get them in a position where they can't reach for nothing, they can't grab nothing until you check and see that the threat has been neutralized. Black men, you're going to have to neutralize the threat. You're going to have to make sure these people ain't holding nothing. You hold them down and you check them. You dig? I've had a suspected white supremacist years ago on some street shit, long time ago. Tried to pull a gun on me and a partner. We were somewhere handling some business, and we got into an altercation with the cat. And I'm not trying to give too much information. This is years ago, but the dude is like an older white dude, and he tried to pull a gun, and we took the gun from him. We got into an argument. We were arguing, and this motherfucker reached, and we started lighting that ass up, and we took his gun. We didn't let that motherfucker raise that shit up. Just instinctively. No. When he started reaching, we knew, whoa, wait a minute. No. When he started reaching for his thing, nah. You dig? So we took his gun from him and kept it. And we gave it to my homegirl to keep. This was years ago. Yeah, we had to neutralize that. I'm telling you from experience. When you're dealing with them and they arguing with you, and this was up in the Hollywood Hills too. This was up in the Hollywood Hills, where somebody's house, and this dude start popping off and shit start going sideways, and he was real bold in the fact that he was real talking big shit. I'm like, okay, he might be holding something because he talking some real big shit. So the minute he reached, okay, God, let's get that ass. You ain't about to pull nothing out. You dig? You dig? We took that motherfucker's gun and I gave it to the chick I was dating at the time to hold on to. Man, we got the drop. But yeah, whenever you deal with these folks, you better assume that they holding something. You better assume that they're holding something, and you cut that, you stop that and cut it short. You dig? Hell yeah, we took his fucking gun. We took that shit. You dig? Yeah, somebody said you can use a potato as a silencer. Yeah, you can use, there's a whole bunch of shit you can use as silencers. You can use a flashlight, the handle of a flashlight, you can tape that on there. You can use that as a silencer. There's all types of shit you can do. You dig? Man. But my brother, again, all of these people who are going around, especially, you notice a lot of this stuff is happening in places like San Francisco, these places where they're really trying to gentrify people, black folks up out of the neighborhood, get them up out. The Bay Area, every day we see a story out of the Bay where there's some white supremacists running up to a black person, instigating something, calling the police for some arbitrary reason. That's because the police are on code with them. These people are making these false charges and the police ain't doing anything about it. So they know they're going to get away with it. They know they're getting away with it. That's why, yeah, we got to have that military mindset and know how to neutralize a threat. You got to know how to neutralize the threat and understand when you walk out the house, black people, we got to understand and we got to accept the fact that we are in a war. We are in a war right now. Black folks, you got to understand that. We think because we can get on Instagram and we can laugh and joke and play that we're not in a war. Yes, we're still in a war. We understand that. You try to live your life as prosperous as you can live it, but understand that you are in a war. When you walk out that house as a black person, you might not make it home. That's something that black people are going to have to talk to their families about. Black people, black people, what you're going to have to do, and we got to get out of denial, number one. Denial ain't going to help you. Black people are going to have to talk to their families. You're going to have to not only take self-defense classes, real talk, but black people, we're going to have to be with the kind of mindset where we get insurance for family members. We got to get insurance for ourselves. We got to explain to our family and children, if something happens to me, who's going to take care of the children? You need to start setting shit like that up. You understand? Set up life insurance. Set up stuff like that. Understand? You got to talk to your family and say, hey, look, if something happens to me, I need you to watch the kids. See, we got to start thinking in those terms. We got to start thinking in those terms. And we got to start thinking in terms of what if I have to strike somebody? What if I have to avenge my family member? You dig? And let me make sure the kids are straight in case I have to avenge my family. Because we're going to have to start thinking in terms like that. I think in terms like that. And I make no secret about it. I make no secret. I say it publicly. If something happens to my family, I think in terms of what I'm going to have to do or what's going to be done with my family if I've had to avenge that. You understand? Because I just can't see myself. I don't know the future. I don't know what will happen in the future, but I just don't see myself just kind of walking around, going on through life if I know there's some kind of Zimmerman out there or white supremacists that done killed a family member of mine, especially one of my kids. I just don't see myself operating knowing that that person is just sitting around at a bar smoking a fucking cigar and I got a dead child and they're trying to give me some money. No, I don't see myself doing that. That's not something that my spirit will let me live with. You understand? That's just me personally. I don't know the future. I don't know the future. You understand? I heard about the duck boat. I did hear about that. But when our family dies, when we have family, especially our children, people like that being killed, we're going to, in war, that's what it is. It's going to have to be eye for an eye. It's going to have to be eye for an eye. All that turning of the cheek stuff don't work. when your family is getting killed and these crazed terrorists are being protected because of their skin color, you just have to sometimes take justice in your own hands. You understand? That's just the long and short of it. Because they're going to, you're just sitting around waiting your turn. That ain't living. Sitting around waiting on a white supremacist to maybe or maybe not murder you or your family, that ain't living. And not saying anything and being scared to even talk about it, that ain't living. You're just existing like a roach. You're just waiting to get stomped. And not saying anything about it, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you. You dig? Understand the power that black people have. You got power. You just don't realize it. Black people, we're like that elephant. We're like that elephant at a circus who they keep an elephant, they keep a string, they keep a little rope on the elephant's foot. And they tie that elephant's foot to a little rinky-dink fence. And psychologically, that elephant obeys. The elephant just stands there with the little rope on its foot, afraid to move because he don't want to get spanked with a little rod or whatever they spank him with. But that elephant, once that elephant taps back into his power, and that's what happens. That's what happens a lot of times when those elephants tear the fucking circus up. The elephant realizes, because the elephant's got good memories. And once that elephant gets rid of the fear of that rod, because it's that little, they be prodding elephants. You understand? They use these little electric prods to prod the elephant. And that scares the elephant. But once the elephant says, wait a minute. Man, fuck that prod. I'm an elephant. What am I scared of a prod for? Then that elephant starts wrecking up shit. You understand? Especially the African elephants. The elephants from the motherland. That's why they can barely train an African elephant. You rarely see an African elephant in captivity. Usually they do not have them. It's very rare for them to have an African elephant in captivity. African people, we knew how to train those African elephants, and we still know how to live and cohabitate with them. But whenever you see elephants in circuses and all that, those are Asian elephants. Those are Asian elephants. You understand? Because, see, we have a different African people. We have a different relationship because African elephants are not to be fucked with. African elephants are 100% about that life. Yeah, so they had to find the coon elephants in Asia. African elephants will kill the white supremacists. You understand? There's certain animals that people in the dominant society can rarely mess with. I want y'all to understand that. There's certain animals that they can't really mess with. I was looking at someone on the BBC the other day. Well, they were over there in the Solomon Islands in the Pacific Ocean. And the Solomon Islands, these are like jet black people over there. They got jet black people over there. And they were talking to this one dude because they got saltwater crocodiles over there on these islands. Very rare, but they got these saltwater crocodiles. And one of the native brothers there was explaining to the camera people, he was like, yeah, we got crocodiles, but, you know, we use a certain magic with these crocodiles so that we can live with them and they don't harm us. You understand? That's that voodoo. That's just another form of voodoo, us understanding nature, us being at one with nature. You dig? See, the white supremacists, whenever they get animals, in order to get the animals to obey, you gotta orphan the animals, meaning you gotta kill their parents off, which African people didn't have to do that. Or you gotta beat the animal and all this old shit, which the animal end up turning on their ass. You understand? Look at Siegfried and Roy. Look at Siegfried and Roy. Roy got fucked up, or was it Siegfried? One of them got fucked up by that tiger. And they tried to spin it. Well, the tiger was just trying to pull him to safety. No, that tiger was trying to bite a chunk out of his ass, and that's what he did. But Hannibal, that's why it kills me when they try to say Hannibal was white. No white people could deal with no African elephants back then like that. I was talking to Azra Kwesi. That's why we're going to get him in Hidden Colors 5. He was telling me, you go to Egypt and East Africa, they got temples where they show how they were training those African elephants. Those African elephants were used for warfare. Only Africans knew how to do that. Even now. You dig? Down there in Costa Rica, there's a dude, a black dude in Costa Rica, who's out there. He be kicking it with crocodiles out there in Costa Rica, on the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. They go see this dude. He be out there just chilling with the crocodiles, petting them and feeding them and shit. These are crocodiles in the wild. We've always had a cool relationship with the animals, even when I went to Africa. I was over there in the Serengeti. And the African people over there, they have a great relationship with the animals. It's nothing hostile. There's a respect there. There's all types of hippos and shit that be all out. I'm scared to death. I'm looking out my side I look out my window at night. I'm hearing some crunching. It's a big ass family of hippopotamus outside the window. I'm like, God damn. Then the brothers from the hotel, go shoo, get out of here. Go, go, go. Nothing hostile. It's a respect there. Got wild baboons and shit. And they're like, no, go, go. You go. Go now. Over in South Africa, you can see this. There's some of the people from the San tribe where they be walking around with lions. The San people of South Africa, they got them real big old asses. They be out there with them loincloths and they got real big donks. And they be walking around with lions and shit. You got brothers in Africa also, they be training them hyenas. Them hyenas are not a joke. You got brothers over there who got hyenas as pets. You understand? So we've always had a respectful relationship with animals like that. We've always had that respect. Animals respect us. Paul Mooney had a joke. He said, hey, look, take a bunch of niggas to the zoo and see how the animals act. The animals be thinking it's time to go home. You understand? Yeah, them lions don't be attacking the people over there. Unless it's an old or sickly lion or whatever. But there's a respect. There's always been that respect there for the animals. Yeah, them hippos are no joke either. Them hippos are not a joke at all. Look, I've seen videos of like white people going over to Africa. And let me tell you something. Them animals be knowing the difference between the natives and some potential invaders. Them animals be knowing. And they be going out there and them hippos be chasing their ass. Look on YouTube. There's a couple of videos where these white people out there on boats and them hippopotamus like, who the fuck? Start swimming over there about to bite their ass. You dig? Because I've been out there with some African brothers. We've been out there by the hippos. Hippos are chilling. We've been out there and the hippos are just chilling. This is the hippo. This is where they met. This is where they go. So the hippos are cool, but the minute the hippos see some white people, start biting, start chomping on their ass. Man, look up. There's videos of hippos chasing white people on boats. You understand? Because they know, because they be over there, the white supremacists be going over there poaching. And animals, they got memories. Animals know when there's a threat. They be over there shooting and killing folks and killing the animals and shit. And some of those East Indians be doing that shit too. I saw something where, I think it was over there in East India, because those East Indians, they be trying to act like white supremacists. They hit a family of elephants. An elephant was hit by a train. An elephant was hit by a train over there in India somewhere. And the elephant's family came and saw that. And the elephants went and fucked up the whole village as revenge. The elephants got more sense than us. The elephants went up in that village and tore that village up. You dig? Your hippos like to be free. Oh yeah, on my Instagram, I posted up where, I think this was in South Africa, this lion was in this little reserve or whatever, and this white dude, he might have been the owner or whatever, but he walked into the cage, or the space where the lion was, and he kind of casually walked in there. I think he was trying to get the meat or whatever. They put some meat out there. I think he was trying to turn the meat over. But I don't know what made his slow ass think he can get in there. Because, the white supremacists, they think they've mastered everybody. So he walked in there. Then the lion started chasing him. And the lion bit his ass and drug it. And you got the other white people in the back screaming and yelling. And I'm like, well, shit. What you think was going to happen? What you think was going to happen? The Chinese fried seahorse. But the thing is, yeah, we have a nature with animals that there's always been a respect level there. This is what's interesting, and they don't like to show that. You notice they never ever show you any black animal trainers. They never show you the black version of the crocodile hunter. They never show you the black version of Jane Goodall. Whenever they show people handling animals, it's always a white person. They always got some white person in Africa. Hi, I'm Jane Goodall. I'm here with the gorillas, and I've learned to get their trust, and they trust me because I'm white, and they'll do anything I say. Stop, man. Dude, the African people teach them. They always got the African people off camera, by the way. You notice? They always got the African people off camera. It's them, it's those African people really giving them the game. It's really keeping them gorillas from whooping your ass. You got the African people off camera. They're like Steve Irwin. See, they try to make it seem like if you can master animals, that's almost a godlike quality. And the white supremacists love trying to be God. That Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle bullshit. They love that. That's why Tarzan has always been a very popular thing. Mastering animals. Mastering wild beasts. And Steve Irwin got his ass jugged in the chest by a stingray. So that showed how much he mastered something. You dig? That's what happens. But it's really the black people over there teaching them how to deal with those animals. Because understand, black people have been living over there with those animals for millions of damn years. You think we don't know how to deal with the animals and the mating habits and the eating habits and the migratory habits of those animals? You did? Black people have been mastering those animals for years. For millions. This is why on the pyramids and outside of the pyramids, you got the Sphinx, the lion head. I mean, there's always been a respect. The Egyptians used to respect the cat. All the big cats. There was a respect there. That's why when you look at old pictures of the Moors, you'll see them with lions and tigers as pets. You understand? Yeah, the Congolese talk gorilla sign language. Yeah, real talk. Yeah, but we've mastered that. We've always mastered that. We've always lived in conjunction with nature. Something that the white supremacists can't really do. You know, they have to do something real devastating to an animal in order to get the animal to obey. You dig? All the way back to the dinosaurs, yeah. Say, why don't I think black people swim? Black people do swim. I don't know where y'all got that bullshit from. Black people do swim. If you go to Africa, they swim all day. Black people were actually surfing in Africa for a long time. Black people do swim. I've been to Zanzibar, where there's beautiful beaches out there. Black people swimming their asses off. You go to places like Nigeria, Ghana, and places like that. They got beaches out there where black people are swimming. Over here, a lot of black people don't swim. And white supremacists start talking about black people got hollow bones or some bullshit they made up. But over here, a lot of black people, enough black people don't swim, because when it comes to swimming pools, white supremacists have always controlled who went to the swimming pool. So where are we going to learn? You see, even today, when black people go swimming, the white supremacists are calling cops on black people. So black people in swimming pools have always been a threat to the white supremacists. You dig? We're the original swimmers. The fuck are you talking about? Black people circumnavigated the whole world before white supremacists crawled out of Europe. We populated the entire planet. That's why the entire planet had jet black people. When you go to any continent and you look at the original people that have been there for thousands of years, if they're still around, they're jet ass black. Anywhere you go. You dig? They said we got denser bones. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because you got people in places like the Solomon Islands. These people are jet black. They look like African tribes. They swim all day, every day. These people swim all over the place. They're jet black. So when does the bones not get dense? Simone, you got to ask some questions now. Just like Neely Fuller said, let's get into question mode. Okay, you got all these dark chocolate people over in the Pacific Islands. These people are jet black. So when do the bones not get dense again? I mean, when do the bones become undense? And look at the guy Duke from Hawaii. We talked about him in one of the Hidden Colors. Duke, who was a native Hawaiian, this dude was jet black. And Duke was one of the people who introduced modern surfing to the world. As a matter of fact, when Duke came to the United States, they thought Duke was black. There's a restaurant in Hawaii called Duke's named after him. He's a real big legendary, he's dead now, but he's a revered figure in Hawaiian folklore. Look at the Samoans. Dude, you go to Samoa, you got jet black people in Samoa with big ass afros. When I was in Samoa, look at the pictures I took. You got Samoans over there looking like niggas from Harlem and South Central. They can swim. When does the bones stop? When does the bones become less dense? See, you got to ask these questions when these white supremacists spew stupid shit. Black folks, you got to ask questions and see if it makes sense. You dig? Who of will you somebody, I don't know who the hell y'all talking about. I'm not, my thing is, I don't have to debate every nobody white supremacist troll. For what? That's not my job. I like to go after the big fish, like the Richard Spencers and the Jared Taylors. All the other ones are just trolls to waste time. They're insignificant. I like to go for the big fish. I like to go for the ones who try to be legitimate. And even then, they have to have somebody there trolling for them. Are there black people in Antarctica? Well, no, people do not habitate Antarctica. You got, scientists down there. But the word is that there was a Moor who mapped out Antarctica. What's up, the native guy? Ben Shapiro's scared to debate me. I've offered to debate that suspected white supremacist Ben Shapiro several times, and he's punked out, and he's nothing but a troll. And he's lost any type of legitimacy because people see that basically he's a troll. And the white supremacists, that's what usually the suspected white supremacists, they troll as a way to deflect away from their white supremacist agenda. The fruit I was talking about in Samoa that makes people swole, that's taro. That's the taro root. It's a root. It's actually a root. They got it all over Samoa. It's very good. I like it. It has the texture of a potato, but it's taro. And it's like damn near pure protein. There's a lot of protein in it. The taro root has a gang of protein, and that's a staple in the diet over there. And that's why them Samoans, they be swole as fuck, man. Them taro, man, you look at a lot of those Polynesians, they be on them. They be brolic. They be swole as hell. Even when I was over there, I was getting swole eating the taro. You eating that pure protein, and it's healthy, no side effects, none of that stuff. So you eating, no, swole, I'm talking about you muscular. No, let me tell you something. When you see like Samoans in the media or whatever, usually the big fat ones, no, that's not how they really look. Some of them got like that because they started eating Western foods. The big fat Samoan, that's kind of new. You understand? The big old ass, no, that's kind of a new thing. Even the big overweight Hawaiians, that's kind of new. You understand? Them Samoans weren't all chunky like that. Those dudes, man, eating that taro root, because when they started introducing pigs, and pigs are not indigenous to the Polynesian, the Europeans brought those over there. But them cats over there eating breadfruit and eating that taro, these dudes want some bodybuilder shit. Even there now, I didn't see a whole bunch of big fat Samoans. You saw like a lot of old Samoans swole as hell, like muscular. Taro. It's taro root. Yeah, like the Booyah tribe niggas. Yeah. Yeah, they're solid over there, man, eating that stuff. Yeah, a lot of the junk, the junk food and all that, that was introduced later. Understand, because those islands, those Pacific islands, especially Hawaii, it's like very secluded, so animals couldn't naturally migrate over there. Hell, even certain birds and certain insects, it took them a minute to get over there to some of those secluded islands. So a lot of things were introduced to them. You know, like the pig and all that stuff. And then when they start eating them pigs and spam, they eat a lot of spam in Hawaii. Because I think during World War II, the American military would bring over spam for the service workers, for the military guys. And the Hawaiians, you know, they start eating spam. So they like spam over there a lot, the native people. Yeah, they bring pigs and rats because that's what they would have on ships. Understand, those European ships, they would have pigs and rats on them. Because pigs are used to clean up ships. Pigs eat shit. That's why they would bring pigs on ships. Pigs eat up the garbage and the refuse and the feces. Pigs eat anything. So pigs are used to clean up garbage, to eat garbage. Even in the streets of America, before they had a sanitation system, like in New York, they would just let pigs run around and eat all the garbage and the shit and everything. Pigs were used as a sanitation system. Yeah, yeah. Oh, spam is nasty as fuck. Oh, yeah. And I ate it as a kid. I ate a little bit of it. But spam is nasty as shit. But they love spam. They got, in Hawaii, they got spam sushi. They love spam over there. And there's a big, and I hear people ask me sometimes, because I go to Hawaii a lot. As a matter of fact, we're gonna be moving back and forth out there pretty soon. Because me and my wife have been talking about this with the children. When our children get a little older, if we don't have the shit right over here, I want to raise them there. If we're not going to have people on code handling business, because I don't want my kids to be targets. Now, you're going to be a target anywhere you go. You'll be a target anywhere you go. But the thing about Hawaii, you have a lower number of white supremacists there than you have in any part of the continental United States. You understand? But that's much later. But in Hawaii, people ask me, man, are they racist? The Hawaiians racist? I heard Hawaiians are racist. No. Not that I've seen. I've been to Hawaii. I've been going back and forth to Hawaii for years. I've never experienced any racism from a native Hawaiian. I've never, not even close to it. Never. I've been going to Hawaii for shit, damn near 20 years, back and forth. The native Hawaiians are mad cool. The native Hawaiians are some of the most coolest people I've ever met. I've never seen anything racist from them. You dig? It's expensive than a motherfucker, though. Yeah, to live out there is expensive. Very expensive. You dig? So your uncle lived there for 10 years. That's what's up. If I had to move out the country, I would probably Zimbabwe. I really like Zimbabwe. If I had to move out the country, it would probably be Zimbabwe. I like Zimbabwe. I was thinking like I would probably move to Dubai, but I went to Dubai and I wasn't too crazy about Dubai. I don't know what it is. It reminded me of Vegas without the casinos. Dubai reminded me of Vegas. It's like Vegas without the fun. I haven't been to Ghana. I got to go to Ghana. I have to go to Ghana, but I have not been to Ghana. Have I experienced volcanic activity? You know what's that? Me and the family, we went to the big island of Hawaii not too long ago. We were at that big volcano that's erupting now. We went to that volcano. We went up there. We went up there to that volcano in Hawaii. We went to visit. It was raining, but we went up there and everything was cool. And then, months later, that motherfucker erupted. I'm like, shit. I'm glad we weren't there then. Yeah, but it's very expensive in Hawaii. Very, very expensive. You heard a few people say Dubai. Yeah, I was not that impressed by Dubai, man. Yeah, I did. The energy. You can make something look good. The buildings look good. I'm all about the energy of a place. The energy, the vibe, the frequency. And I just wasn't, and where I was staying in a real nice spot. It's beautiful. The hotel was beautiful. The mall is just big, beautiful mall. But I'm like, oh, okay. The energy ain't there, though. They got a lot of material things, nice cars and all that, but the energy. Yeah, it was just the energy. It ain't I've been to Costa Rica. Costa Rica's the shit. I love Costa Rica. Costa Rica is nice. Very slept on. Costa Rica is real nice. I had a ball in Costa Rica, man. The people down there, wonderful. Real cool people in Costa Rica. Beautiful place, man. Costa Rica is real nice. But energy is very important. Because that's what Dubai reminded me. It just looked like Vegas on a weekday. Without the casinos. Just like Vegas on a weekday in the daytime. It reminds me of being in Las Vegas when you're not on the strip. Like if you're in Vegas and you ain't on the strip, Vegas is in. But once you get to the strip, there's a different energy. Like when you go, Vegas has an energy. When you drive into Vegas, you're on the 15 freeway, you drive into Vegas, the minute you hit that hill and see the city, you can feel the energy of Vegas. You can feel the energy of Vegas. You're like, shit, it's about to go down. Vegas has an energy. It has a vibe. Certain places, the vibe has to be right. And I've been to certain countries and the vibe just wasn't there. Dubai, I wasn't liking the vibe. Australia, I wasn't really feeling the vibe in Australia. I've been to Panama. I didn't really feel the vibe in Panama. I wasn't really vibing with it. Probably because the people at the airport were kind of on some asshole shit. They were kind of being a little dicky at the airport. So that just kind of threw me off. But I was only there for a day. I was just passing through. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling the vibe in Panama either. You dig? New Orleans energy was great. Yeah, I want to go to Cuba. I haven't been to Cuba, but I do want to go. I do want to go. Zanzibar is real nice, man. I really, really like Zanzibar. Nigga, with the mosquitoes. They got a gang of mosquitoes at our hotel. Nigga, them mosquitoes was a beast in Zanzibar. You dig? I've not been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Brazil. Is the shit. Brazil is off the chain. Brazil is real, real fun city. Jamaica. I like Jamaica a lot. I had a great time in Jamaica. I really, really like Jamaica. I've been to the Bahamas. The Bahamas was cool. I've been to the Atlantis Hotel. That was off the chain. Yeah, Zanzibar is beautiful. Zanzibar is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I was in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. If y'all go to Jamaica, y'all need to check out Ocho Rios. And don't let people scare you, because there's a lot of white tourists there who will try to scare you. Hey man, we shouldn't go out at night. Fuck out of here. We went out at night and we were turning up out there in the streets of Jamaica. We had a great time. Don't let them think that you're gonna get kidnapped and sold and fuck all that. The Jamaican folks are mad cool. Jamaican folks about getting their little money up. They ain't tripping on no bullshit. You hit the streets at night in Ocho Rios and get you some of that jerk chicken on the streets. Y'all ain't had jerk chicken until you had it in Jamaica on the street. Not in no restaurant with a brother with a big barbecue pit cooking it up on the streets, giving it to you on a paper plate, nigga. You ain't had jerk chicken until you had that. You Montego Bay, yeah, beautiful. Jamaica's beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, the food, yeah, that real talk. He said Jamaica had the worst, Brazil had the worst food. I didn't like the food in Brazil at all. That's real talk. The food in Brazil, the people were great. People were wonderful. I did not like the food in Brazil. Did not like it. Did not like it. Tekashi 6ix9ine. Oh yeah, people asked me about that earlier. Tekashi 6ix9ine. And they reported that he got robbed, kidnapped, beat up. Yeah, I've been kind of skeptical of this story. A lot of people ran with it. My thing is, I don't know. It just seems real suspicious that he would get kidnapped, robbed, beat up on the same day he puts a new single out with Nicki Minaj. I don't know, man. It just seems real suspicious. I'm going to have to wait. And now, from what I understand, the police said that some things he said to the police aren't adding up. So, I don't know, man, with Tekashi 6ix9ine, because he's known, this guy does, I don't put him doing a publicity stunt past him. He might be trolling again. I don't know. it just looks real suspicious. It just looks real suspicious, man. So I don't know. They said it looked fake. It looked like a publicity stunt to sell records. I don't know. But who knows? I just have to wait until more evidence come in. You dig? Because my thing is, some cats gonna clap him up and get at him. It's gonna be it's gonna be bad. It ain't gonna be some shit where you taking selfies in a damn hospital bed. And that looks suspicious when you laying up in the hospital, you sitting there looking, you posing, you're in the hospital. You know, that just looks suspicious. The hospital picture. Yeah. All right. Yes, Haiti is beautiful. Yeah, so I'm just suspicious. Fishing Bammy at Port Royal. But who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, man, let me get up out of here, y'all. Boy, y'all in here heavy. Let me go ahead and check on the children. All right, man, look. Again, everybody go check out the Mink Slide right now. All you guys watching now, look at my group's video, City Lights. Click on the link right below. There's a link right here. If you're watching me live, you'll see, watch the new video, the Mink Slide video, City Lights, right below you. If you have not seen the video, and I want everybody to do a favor. Family, this is what I want all 3,000 of you guys to do right now. Get the link below. All my family, if you're watching, get the link below and just share it on your Facebook. Retweet that link and put the video clip on Instagram, on your gram. Can my family do that? Can everybody listening right now? It's going to take you 3 seconds to get this link for our music video, and everybody repost it on your Facebook. Post it on your Facebook right now. I'll give you a couple of seconds to do it now. Let's do it now. Put it on your Facebook. Are y'all doing it? Put that link on your Facebook and then retweet that link for the music video. Put it on your Facebook. Put it on your Twitter. All right? I know it's been, shit, I've been on here with y'all ass for 3 hours. Damn, I've been on here. Y'all got me on here chopping up game with the family. I haven't had a 3-hour chop up game session for a long time. But I thank everybody and I appreciate everybody for really loving the video and really supporting it and really getting our group's album in the top 3. All across the Google Play charts, the Amazon charts, and the iTunes charts. You know, the people are really feeling the album. That's why the album is doing great on these charts. We're competing with the major label stuff. And again, this is a very classic album. A very classic album. And if you haven't gotten the album, definitely go to iTunes and get it. Go to Google Play and get the album. You got to get it. Great album. But again, did all y'all do it? How many of you guys did it? How many of you guys retweeted that and put it on your Facebook? How many of y'all just did it? Y'all need to tweet it now. Tweet it now. Tweet it now. Tweet it now. Did y'all do it? All right. I trust that y'all did it. All right? All right, y'all have a good night, family. I'm out of here. Let me see where I am. My whole shit done froze up. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, my shit is all stuck. I can't even log out this month. Hold on. I'm trying to stop the show. I've been on here so long, my shit done froze up. Okay, I'm trying to log out and I'm stuck like Chuck. All right, but again, you guys, while I'm trying to log out, you guys retweet right now that Mink Slide and get that Egyptian Must Mink Slide album. Get that and bump it. And again, you can get it on iTunes and all those other places. All right, y'all be good.